looks good. It's a B movie that's dragging on and on and on.
The latest patient to get an experimental pig kidney transplant says he's about to go back to work. Bill Stewart, who received the experimental kidney in June, says he did it to help advance the science.
I just had an ultrasound yesterday, and he said, Dr. Viola said, my kidney's doing absolutely wonderfully. It looks great.
Clinical trials poised to begin to test animal-to-human transplants, which supporters say could ease the organ shortage. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Injury crash reported in Hermitage. This is going to be 40 eastbound at Stewart's Ferry Pike, exit 219. Right now, we're starting to build. We're getting to the brake tapping stage in some parts of the downtown loop to get home. But for the most part, everything's still moving. I don't see anything coming to complete stops. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, kids. Welcome in. One and all, it's the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day and another week on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Happy to have you with us. It is very low on my microphone. It is 7 minutes after the hour. Thank you for being around. I'm glad to have you. Whatever time we're able to spend together is very valuable to me. I hope it's valuable to you as well. We'll hope to make it valuable by educating, informing, and certainly entertaining you over the course of the next 4 hours. I've got a cohort of individuals, a cadre, a few folk that assist me in doing that, and I'm going to introduce those people in just a moment as we begin the show, as we do every day with the pleasantries. You can find us on TuneIn, Spotify, iHeart, really anywhere you podcast or anywhere you download or anywhere you stream music or news or information on an app. You can find us. Just type in Supertalk 99.7 WTN. If we're not on your app of your choosing, tell us about that and we'll get there. Plus, there's our own Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Just type those into your app store and you can find us and take us wherever you go. We invite you to do so. Speaking of podcasts, you can find us on YouTube and a variety of other platforms with a number of podcasts and whatnot up and running, to include our All the Best Words podcast. Cameron Smith and myself do that 3 times a week or whenever it's necessary. And we've got a new one that has just dumped today, if I'm not mistaken. You can find that on Supertalk 99.7 WTN, and I'll try to float that out on my social media platforms as well. It is day 234 of the Donald Trump administration, term 2 of 1460.5. I love to say that just to drive the liberals crazy, because you got a lot of Donald Trump left, baby. A lot of, maybe a third term. Who knows? And then episode 879 of our proceedings today. You hear the laugh in the background. That's Ken Weaver in News Closet B. Hello, Ken Weaver.
How about you boys?
Let me tell you something. I'm learning a lot about Ken Weaver. By the way, Jackson's here, too. More on him in a moment.
Brother Jackson. Yes, sir.
Oh, I just thought of a new nickname.
What?
Apple Jacks.
Apple. Ooh, I like that one.
Apple Jacks, because you're always just a breath of fresh air.
Oh,
Little ray of sunshine. And he's looking for a ride to the game this Saturday. More on that. More on that later. Ken, I got a story to tell you.
I want to hear it.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I'm all about stories.
Jackson thinks that I'm going to give him a ride to the game Saturday.
I'm telling you, I am looking forward to this week so much.
Ken,
I am too, man.
Ken, I don't think he's ready for the Nealand effect. Do you think he is?
Yeah, well, Murphy's been there.
Murphy, what do you think?
What? The Nealand effect?
Oh.
Oh, is that your band?
Yeah, it's the band version.
See, when I was there the first time, I was at Neyland Stadium 2 years ago when Georgia came into town. And when the band came in, I thought that those were the trash collection crews, but apparently that's not the case. Apparently they don't do that. But I thought that for the coloring. Anyway, more on Jackson's misguided belief that he's got a ride to the game coming up later on in the show. But what was I about? Oh, Ken Weaver.
Tell a story.
I've forgotten the story, but I will say this. Oh, I know what I was about to say. I'm learning so much about Weaver, y'all. And I've known this man since I, brushed into town. What was it? December of 2021. I got here and I'm meeting everybody, and Ken Weaver was nothing but nice, and he is the nicest human being on planet Earth.
Oh, thank you.
And getting to work with you in the afternoons has been an absolute delight. As professional as the day is long, the best newscaster in the business. In the business.
Well, and I'm having fun.
And I'm having a good time, too. I did not realize this
Won't
about
be
you.
on Saturday.
I didn't realize this about Ken Jackson until this weekend. Ken and I watch a football game very, very similarly
Yes,
when it's our team. I'm going to tell you how we're going to lose. And I learned it from listening to Larry Munson for years. And for those that don't know, the old radio man, Larry Munson, who did radio for years for the Georgia Bulldogs, he was our pessimist. He was our pessimist, right? Oh, these dogs, I know we're up by 2 touchdowns, but there's 2 minutes to go in the game and anything can happen. And oh, no, look at those big ugly. He would explain to you how the Bulldogs were going to lose a football game.
And then they do it.
And then occasionally they do it. So on Saturday, I am watching the Oklahoma Sooners. And I'm watching this Mateer fella, this quarterback. Have you watched some of this play that this quarterback's got going on?
He's fun.
This guy is the real deal.
Yeah, he's
the real deal.
Listen to Ken.
And I'm watching the Sooners play the Michigan Wolverines. It was the game of the week, y'all. And I'm watching this especially closely because I know my good friend and radio colleague Ken Weaver is all locked in. And I sent him a text, and I'm like, man, y'all are pretty good. And Ken then proceeded to tell me how they were going to lose every game that they ever play. Hold on, I want to try to find it.
And I said, fiddlesticks.
He did. I can't clean that. I'll clean all of that up. Don't you worry. Hold on. I said, wait. I said that y'all are the much better team, except for the stupid mistakes, Ken said.
Well, we did. We made.
Okay, it's early in the year.
Here was the start. I got to the start of the text exchange. I just want to share this with y'all. This is good. I said, BTW, Weaver, By the way, we were Boomer Sooner. You know, I say that to my friend. Yes, sir, always. That guy just dropped that pass. He needs to sit.
Well, he did.
I'm assuming.
Hit him right in the hands. It'd have been a first down.
I'm going to assume some inflection on Ken's part here when I read these. I said, yeah, he lifted those eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read this one exactly as it was written, Ken.
Okay.
I said, he lifted those eyes up. He said, I'm going to lift his ass, making him run bleachers after the game. We've committed 3 stupid penalties to give these guys a chance after chance after chance. I said, y'all are the better team, except for the stupid mistakes. And so I took a pause on the text. I felt like I needed to let the man watch his game. And later on, I said, the D looks good. And I said, Georgia better get our offense together or we're going to get whooped Saturday. And he said, who y'all got next? The Vols. And then you responded, said, we finally got SEC deep on the D-line. You feel that way, Ken?
Yes.
Y'all's defense is pretty good.
I feel like we finally have the depth to adequately compete in the SEC.
And then this is where Brent Venables' weakness as a head coach is exposed. Second half adjustments.
Yeah.
And then he said, I said, y'all got yourselves a quarterback. Remember what I said about special teams.
Yep.
Much like the last season, we can't get the bleep out of our own way.
Yep. Fiddlesticks.
Fiddlesticks and fiddle farts. And then eventually y'all won the football game, as I recall. Did you not?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you
We
did.
did. It was
It was a good game.
it was.
You didn't lose to a freshman quarterback on your own home field 2 years in a row.
You do not want to do that.
Well, you did last year.
Yes, we did.
I think Oklahoma is one of the 4 best teams in the SEC.
Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia.
LSU.
I don't know that I would put Tennessee there yet.
Hey,
I don't know that I would put Georgia there yet. I would put Oklahoma. I mean, I think Oklahoma has been tested more than Tennessee or Georgia either.
Well, I
Clearly.
definitely think LSU and Georgia are I think y'all are the 2 best teams in the league. But it's like I was telling Brother Jackson earlier. We really don't know anything about the Vols or the Bulldogs
We do
yet.
not. We do not.
But we're going to find out this weekend.
We're going to find out Saturday. So that's enough sports on the News Talk station, although there will be an official Action Jackson football minute.
Sir. Yes,
an
sir.
emergency one.
An emergency football minute coming up at the end of this hour. So just an alert. And we all have to wear our headgear for this.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know this, Ken. We had the big debate. You were back at home base. We had the big debate Friday night at Cabaret, which is Ray Stevens Theater, which is a beautiful, gorgeous facility if you've never been.
Yeah.
But some of the crowd got waylaid by the weather. Nasty weather rocked through the area right around the time that we were putting on the debate. But I did my show from out there. And then we transitioned right into the debate. Thank you to Dan. Thank you to Ken, by the way, for handling home base. Thank you to Mason for being at home base.
Yes, sir.
Jackson was out on site with me. And thank you to Dan Mandis for subbing in. It's not like he did enough radio last week with Red Eye Radio and all the other stuff that he's doing. But he gave us about 30 minutes of great content leading up to the debate. And then we had the debate from 7 until 9. I've not had a chance to speak to any of you, so if you've got any thoughts on it, 615-737-9986. But I have a few thoughts on it as well, and we're going to do that in a minute. But Mr. Bill from Hendersonville, who brought us that delicious food from the Wilson County Fair.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
deep fried cheese. Well, he felt bad about not getting the turkey leg to us.
Okay.
Okay? So he was there at the debate Friday night. And he brought us something in lieu of the turkey leg. And he brought each of us one, and I'm going to show it to you on Talk TV. So if y'all aren't on Talk TV, you need to get over there. Hold on.
Get on over there. Get on that Talk TV.
I got to show you. Hold on. I got to get mine.
It's YouTube, Twitter, X.
Here we go. Okay. Yeah, we're on the X. We're on the YouTubes and the Rumbles.
Yeah, the Rumbles.
You can find us on the Rumbles. All right. So.
And the Twitch.
All right. Here we go. I got to take my headphones off to do this properly.
Okay.
All right. Hold on.
You know, Ken, while he has his headset off, I'm going to let you in on a little secret,
I can hear
okay?
you. And the monitor here.
Oh, wonderful. If Tennessee wins on Saturday, I'm kicking that Bulldog.
You can't kick little Uga.
Oh, I'm kicking him right in the doghouse.
Jackson's going to go right down there and do it.
I will be wearing that hat in the mugshot.
Hello.
What is that?
It's a turkey hat, Ken. And we have 3 of them. You have one.
Oh, okay. I see. It's a turkey. It's an actual turkey.
It's a turkey. So he felt bad about not getting us the turkey leg, so he bought us turkey hats. Yours says Ken, a.k.a. I just do the news, boys. Yes, Weaver.
Yeah.
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 That's exactly right. I said it wrong. Jackson's, it says Jackson, a.k.a. Y2J, a.k.a. J. Willie, a.k.a. Action Jackson, a.k.a. Fraction Jackson Williams.
Yes, sir. All of them.
And now,
All of them.
And then we got Apple Jacks to add to the laundry list of nicknames.
It'll be like that Browns jersey.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, what Browns jersey?
Have you not seen the one where they update it with every starting quarterback they've had since the expansion?
How many are on there?
It's like overflowing. They've had to add like extra fabric.
Oh, it's awesome. So it's a good looking hat, and I can't really speak for Weaver. I can make Jackson do certain things. I can't make Ken do anything, but I feel like we should all wear these during Action Jackson's football report later on in the hour. So,
I'll be doing it.
so there you go. So thank you to Mr. Bill from Hendersonville for.
I like how it's got little boots there where the turkey's feet used to be.
That's right. Remember that? What were those for?
I can't remember. I don't know what they were for.
I
I
guess-
remember I always wanted them, though.
Oh yeah, the little booties.
Yeah. How come we don't have little booties on our turkey, Mama?
Keep the no. That was for fancy folks.
Yeah,
Weaver. I mean,
probably was,
no,
yeah.
that was those for rich folks.
Yeah.
I guess that keeps their little nubbies from burning,
Makes them taste better
Make-
somehow.
more tender. You cooks in the audience, y'all can help us out. Anyway, big time Friday night. I was Saturday morning. I had been asked, and I did host or act as a moderator for a town hall for Andy Ogles in Spring Hill at Big Bad Breakfast Saturday morning, and that was sponsored by Americans for Prosperity. And there were a few protesters out there, and I'm going to describe to you how the mainstream media, in, I suppose, an effort to be equal in terms of reporting, or in an, I don't know why they report in the way that they do. There were a bunch of rabble-rousers out in the rain screaming and yelling F-bombs in front of children and acting the fool that were not allowed into the event.
Goodness.
And nor should they have been allowed into the event. And oh, by the way, if they had acted right and comported themselves in the proper fashion, they probably could have gotten out of the rain. But they decided to act the fool, and they were asked to leave. Because we're not going to have an event that is designed to benefit the 5th Congressional District. Now, I don't control any of this. I didn't control any of this. I was just the moderator. As Ken Weaver likes to say, I was just doing the news, boys. I was just there to ask a few questions of Ogles regarding the big, beautiful bill and some other things. With that in mind, we will tell you the full story. And then there's the Nashville banner. I don't know if you've seen my X account. Go over there to @MattMurphyShow, @MattMurphyShow on X, and you'll see the lovely photo that the Nashville banner decided to use of me and Andy Ogles. And I think Michael Lotfy of AFP is in the photo too, although he is blocked partially by my extended hand. The Nashville banner fella, I don't know if it was a girl or a guy. I don't know. There were a lot of reporters there. There was News Channel 5 was there. Fox 17 was there. I don't know if any other media organizations were there, but there were several print reporters there, and the Nashville banner was one of them. And the banner guy, I guarantee you they took hundreds of photos of the event. Hundreds of photos of the event. And of the 2 photos that they decided to use in their story, and maybe there were 3, this was one of them, of Murphy with an extended hand.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Trying to make you look like a Nazi.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
I don't think there's any question why they used this photo. And it was me. I was looking at someone. Andy was talking, and I was standing beside him, and I saw somebody that I hadn't seen in a while since the last time I was down in Spring Hill, and they came in, and I was like, what is going? What's up, you? What's going on? That's what I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it went. And they took that photo, and then oh, look, there's Matt Murphy with his hand out. Jerks. You can find that on the old X machine. Watch the Nashville banner. I mean, but I'm sure they didn't have any other pictures to choose from. Sure. That's the way that they do. But I've got a lot to say about the event Friday night. I've got a few things to say about the event Saturday morning. Would love to hear from you, 615-737-9986. We heard Monty Fritz entering the gubernatorial race last week on the Chris Hand Show. I've reached out to Monty, and he and I are communicating. We're going to get him on the show very soon.
All right.
I have a question. What do y'all believe the Monty Fritz presence in the governor's race means for the governor's race? I would suggest to you, and I'm going to explain it to you in a moment, that it means that the governor's race is more over than it ever has been. This is not bad for Marsha Blackburn. It's actually very good for Marsha Blackburn. And I'll explain why in a moment. Plus news, plus your calls, 615-737-9986. We got a lot to do this Monday, this September 8th, 2025 at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Cover Nash. Shane Ring understands health insurance. He understands intricacies of health insurance that I could only begin to understand. I mean, and I've sat down with Shane, and we've gone over my insurance plans and my insurance programs and exactly what I'm benefiting from and what could be better. The point is this. Shane understands this at a level that you want in your corner. He wants to act as your personal concierge. He'll communicate with the health insurance companies. You don't have to. He'll shop the market. You don't have to. And when he tells you that you got the best deal going, when he tells you that you're not getting enough coverage for the money that you're paying, you know that you're being told the truth. Sadly, a lot of times you don't know that, especially when you're dealing with people that are trying to sell you particular insurance products. They don't do that with Shane Ring and Cover Nash. He's selling you the best for you individually. That's why he meets with folks all the time in Brentwood at his office. He'll sit down with you in person. He'll talk with you on the phone. He is a local agent for you. Call Shane Ring and Cover Nash today at 615-465-0023. 465-0023 or go online to coverdash.com. Coverdash.com. Friends, did you get out and about over the weekend and get down to Franklin? If you did, I hope you stopped in and said hello to Holly, David, and the rest of the crew at Savory Spice. Holly and David are local owners of Savory Spice. That means something to me. I like keeping my money local. Secondarily, they're selling a better product than they sell at the big box stores or some of the discount locations. They sell the freshest of the fresh when it comes to spices. They get shipments and deliveries weekly. Or if not even more often than once a week, bringing you in some of the seasoning blends, some of the seasonal blends. It's pumpkin spice season already, y'all. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I know that it's September, but y'all know it's here. And you can get all of your pumpkin. By the way, pumpkin spice, it does not have pumpkin in it. That's the whole point. It's the spice that goes into the pumpkin that makes it delicious. And they have a lot of it at Savory Spice. Obviously, they would. this time of year. They got cinnamon, they got nutmeg, they got all kind of things. They've got something for you, and I encourage you to go by and see the Spice and Easy line of products. If you're tired of the same old, and you're not the best in the kitchen, go toward the Spice and Easy line. Ask them about these pre-arranged packages with all the seasoning available to you and easy-to-understand instructions on the back how to cook a delicious meal for you and your family. It's all at Savory Spice. Go and see them for yourselves. Just off the square in Franklin. Tell them Murphy sent you to the one and only Savory Spice.
President Trump says there will be new guidance about prayer in public schools. We'll tell you about that story and more coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Don't you worry. It's going to be a busy afternoon. I have no guests. Sometimes we have one, sometimes we have two, sometimes we have a lot of them, sometimes we have none. We shifted around on the Matt Murphy Show just to keep you on your toes, and I would love to hear from you on the telephones. You're the guest. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. I give that number often and as quickly as possible just to keep you on your toes. Yes, of course, we will talk about the tragedy in Charlotte, North Carolina, what could have been done to avoid it, what needs to be done to avoid future tragedies. And I'm going to go ahead and say what no one else seems to want to say. We need to involuntarily, we better start having the discussion about involuntarily committing individuals to mental institutions. We better start building mental institutions. We have too many crazy people roaming the streets. We have too many crazy people roaming the streets. And if they're not killing people, they are scaring the hell out of Nashvillians on a regular basis. And people in Memphis, and people in Chattanooga, and all points in between, and of Charlotte, North Carolina, Chicago, Illinois. And why can we not have this discussion? The system that is currently in operation is not working. When you talk about getting people mental health, that mental health that they need is available for them inside of a locked mental institution. And it's about time. I mean, his mama wanted him locked up. And he wasn't locked up because of liberal policy in these big cities with regard to how we treat the criminal element on those city streets. And now a woman's dead. And if the mainstream media won't report on it, we damn sure will. That's upcoming as well on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's time for that. We got a lot to get into. I will go over Saturday morning with you because I want to make sure that you understand the real deal, the real story that happened in Spring Hill and not rely on some of these leftist media outlets. And we'll talk about the Friday night debate with you. 615-737-9986. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
3:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast, traffic updates in 5 minutes. President Trump says there will be new guidance about prayer in public schools. He was speaking today at the Museum of the Bible to the White House Religious Liberty Commission he created within the Department of Justice to combat anti-Christian bias.
There is a tremendous anti-Christian bias. We don't hear about it. We don't think about it. You hear about anti-Semitic, but you don't hear about anti-Christian. Now, you have a strong anti-Christian bias, but we're ending that rapidly, I will tell you.
The new directive's likely to expand upon guidance from Trump's first administration, which required educational agencies to confirm their policies did not infringe on religious expression and clarified students' rights to organize prayer groups, express religious beliefs, and pray during non-instructional time. And a 2003 birthday gift to Jeffrey Epstein, purportedly from President Trump, has been turned over to congressional investigators. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee publicly released it online. Here's ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
Delivered in response to a subpoena to Jeffrey Epstein's estate, the 2003 birthday book contains a typewritten note that appears to be signed by Donald Trump. As reported by the Wall Street Journal in July, the letter is framed by the hand-drawn outline of a female figure. It includes the text, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." The president has sued the Wall Street Journal's owner, claiming the paper's report was fake. Now that the letter has been made public, a top White House communications aide claims it's not Trump's signature on the note.
The latest patient to get an experimental pig kidney transplant says he's about to go back to work. Clinical trials are poised to begin to test animal-to-human transplants, which supporters say could ease the organ shortage. And Bill Stewart, who received the experimental kidney in June, says he did it to help advance the science of xenotransplantation.
I felt like it was an opportunity to kind of give other people potentially an opportunity to do the same thing that I just underwent, and kind of advance the science along. I've always been a little bit of a science nerd.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Hermitage police reporting an injury crash 40 eastbound at Stewart's Ferry Pike. Sylvan Park police say there's a crash 40 westbound just past White Bridge Pike, Briley Parkway West, exit 204. Starting to get the brake tapping a little bit more. Northbound 65 up to the South Loop, then eastbound South Loop to 65, northbound West and North Loop over to 24, and then eastbound 24 from 440. I'm Ken Weaver.
One of the things I don't mention as often as I should when I talk about the Tennessee Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solutions Center, the fact that Dr. Brian McLaughlin, who runs the center both in Brentwood and Murfreesboro, is a U.S. Army veteran. He's a dad. He's a business owner. He also keeps bees, as if he didn't have enough to do. I just find that fascinating that he's also a busy beekeeper, but never too busy to see you about your sleeping issues. Friends, if you're not sleeping well and you don't know why, if you have a lack of energy in the morning and you don't know why, if you snore, maybe you have sleep apnea. And if you do have sleep apnea, this could cause you health concerns either right now or down the road, and it's probably causing your partner problems in the bedroom because they can't get to sleep because of your snoring. Sleep apnea and TMJ Solutions are available to you at the Tennessee Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solutions Center. It comes in the form of an FDA-approved mouth guard. I have one of these, and I absolutely love it. It's custom fitted to your mouth. It is designed to gently hold the jaw forward in a way that you will not notice, so your airway stays open throughout the course of the night. What that does is help you breathe throughout the night, and you sleep better, you don't snore, and you wake up refreshed. That's what it's all about. Friends, this is in-network and insurance for you. You need to call the Tennessee Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solutions Center online at TennesseeSleep.com, TennesseeSleep.com. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the incredible group of fabulous locations at Eurofix. Let me talk about Aaron Stokes and Eurofix. Hold on, I got a little discombobulated there. You might not know this, but there is an auto repair company that I've talked about from time to time that pays its mechanics more than any other repair shops around, and it's Eurofix. Eurofix keeps overhead low, and they focus the money exactly where it should go, and that is on the mechanic. A decent tech makes 50 or 60 grand a year. Good tech makes up to $120,000 a year. Really, really fast technician can make even more than that. Why do they pay their technicians more? Because they get the best, because they expect the best, and you expect the best when you bring your car to Eurofix. That doesn't mean that you have to pay more, however, because if you keep your overhead low in other places, as Aaron Stokes does, if you're not paying the overhead of an entire dealership, which is sadly the case when you go to the auto dealer, then you can keep those prices low for the customer and still pay your mechanics what you ought to pay them. Everything out there has to be worked on. Did you know Eurofix is not open on weekends because they want their mechanics happy? They allow their mechanics to spend the weekend with their families, so they're going to be happy mechanics come Monday morning. 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all repairs Eurofix performs, plus a rental vehicle available to you when you drop your car off to Eurofix. Call them today at 844-EUROFIX or visit online at myeurofix.com. If you go over to the Nashville Banter, and by the way, we'll get to North Carolina coming up in a couple of minutes. We'll tell you all about that. I'm trying to be respectful, and I'm trying to learn the pronunciation of this young lady's name, Ukrainian refugee that has obviously died at the hands of this scumbag who murdered her in cold blood on a light rail system in Charlotte, North Carolina. More coming up on that in the next hour. We will go over my takeaway from the debate, the 7th Congressional District debate, that obviously did not include all the candidates, but the 4 top-tier candidates were on stage Friday night. It was a debate that I partnered with, we at Supertalk 99.7 WTN partnered with Americans for Prosperity to present to you on air and online in an effort to get maximum information to the voting public of the 7th Congressional District. That's what it's all about. So I'm going to leave it to you to tell me what your takeaway was if you so happened to listen to that debate. Now, that's on the 7th Congressional District front. That was Friday night. So I left that, went home, and got up bright and early on Saturday morning and, pre-football, and traveled down to Spring Hill to proudly take part in another event. It was called, the One Big Beautiful Breakfast at Big Bad Breakfast. It was sponsored by Americans for Prosperity, their event, and they invited me to act as a host to Congressman Andy Ogles of the 5th Congressional District, ask him some questions, primarily about the One Big Beautiful Bill, which is now the One Big Beautiful Law, which is what we did. So it was a rainy day when I pulled into the parking lot of the One Big Beautiful, or the Big Bad Breakfast there in Spring Hill. And I already noted that there were some protesters out. The last time that we had one of these, there were a few. There was a smattering of protesters, but not a lot. The protests were a little more robust this time around. And listen, everyone who was in attendance agreed that protesters have the right to protest, but what they don't have the right to do is to break up a private gathering of people in an effort to have an open town hall or Q&A format with their congressman, in this case, Andy Ogles. I feel like that the news organizations that are covering this event are trying to bend over backwards to be nice to these scumbags that were in the parking lot. And I just want to tell you, once again, you have the right to be a scumbag in America if you want to be a scumbag, but let's call these people what they are. They were screaming F-bombs and expletives in front of children. They did not want to. I tried to have a conversation with a group of them at the end of the event as I was leaving, and all they wanted to do was yell at me and scream at me. All they want to do is yell and scream and hide their faces. Now, don't believe me. Believe this guest. Pamela Furr was there. She was a part of the organization of the event in Spring Hill. Of course, we know the redheaded stranger from her time on Supertalk 99.7 WTN, and she's now with Americans for Prosperity, and she wants to give her perspective on it. Hey, Pamela Furr, what's going on?
Hello, Matt Murphy. Thank you for being there on Saturday.
It's my pleasure. I spent a good part of my weekend with you.
Yeah, yeah, I guess you did.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. First of all, again, thank you, and thanks to all those that did attend. This is not our first event at Big Bad Breakfast. This is, I think, maybe our fourth event there, and so for it to turn into what it turned into was rather interesting for me. And here's the part that bothers me a lot, Matt. You just said you used the word scumbag and that sort of thing. I actually was nice to some of these people as well, because I got there super early. I got there about 15 minutes before the restaurant even opened, right? And there were quite a few people that were already there ready to come in with big bulging jackets on and whatnot. And, they wanted to come into our event, come to our side of the building. And, I said, well, we're not ready yet. It's still pouring down rain and this is leaking and what have you. And they were super nice. And I saw them take off their jackets, and then they had indivisible on their T-shirts, and some started bringing in protest signs inside the restaurant, and they sat down and actually had breakfast. And so I explained to them, well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able now to allow you into our event. And they asked why, and I said, because you guys are disruptors, and with all due respect, I appreciate your ability and your First Amendment right to protest, but you're not going to be able to do it inside of my event. And they weren't mean about it. And I even commend Congressman Ogles, who actually went inside the restaurant to talk to these group of people. But as soon as he was done, and they were a little hostile to him even then, but as soon as he was done, they went outside and picked up their bullhorns and tried to disrupt the event that we were having. It was funny. But all it did was energize the people that were there to hear about the big, beautiful bill and what Andy had to say about it and the questions that you had to ask. So, I mean, there were obviously more people inside than there were outside. Just the outside people were, I mean, the expletives, I wouldn't repeat ever. I mean, there was some. Well, it was that's who they are.
Well, and they don't want to talk. I mean, Andy tried. I tried. You tried. I mean, they want to scream. I don't believe that these people that were outside of that venue had any interest in having a discussion. They wanted to shut discussion down, and that's the difference. That's
the difference. In fact, there was an indivisible individual who actually got into my event, right? And so I suspected that she was part of that group. And so I went up to her and just to say, hi, my name is Pamela. May I get your name? Because we do check everybody in, and we do ask for identification when people come to our events. And I just said, can I get your name? And she started to become hostile. And I said, well, may I ask why you're here? And she said, well, I want to talk to the congressman. And I said, well, he's right here. I'll bring you to him. And she goes, no, I'll wait. And I go, but I thought you said you wanted to talk to him. No, I'll wait. Well, I mean, I knew what she wanted to do. She wanted to disrupt the event. So, I mean, it's just, they are not indivisible, but they're indescribable with how, I'm trying to be respectful, but I don't know why I should. It's indefensible what these people tried to do. And like you said, they're not there for conversation. They just want to disrupt.
And the hiding.
A couple of them look pretty scary to me. So the police showed up. Thank you, Spring Hill Police.
Well, and the idea that they're hiding their faces, they're hiding their identities. I mean, the one Antifa fella, I mean, I'm sure that some of the others were involved in the movement. I applaud Andy, and listen, y'all know, those that have listened to me from my beginnings here at Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and Andy and I, we laugh about this because we have disagreed, and we've disagreed pretty strongly on a couple of issues, but we recognize that's what America's all about. Our founding fathers disagreed strongly on issues,
right? And
you walk away as friends recognizing that that's what the great American experiment is all about. And so while I have disagreed with Andy on some things, I agree with him on a lot of other things, and I applaud him because he didn't have to go out there. And he went out there anyway, and his purpose was, And he told me later, he said, I really wanted to talk to him, but I wasn't going to talk to some coward behind a mask. And so he went out. He said, don't touch me. He said, first and foremost, don't touch me. If you start touching me, then we got a problem. Mm-hmm. And rightly so. I mean, he's a U.S. congressman, or he's a citizen, after all. You don't get to touch other people. And then he said, take your mask off and don't be a coward and we'll talk. And they wouldn't do it. They just wanted to scream and yell and the nastiest expletives. And, I don't know. I don't know who they think they're bringing to their side doing things that way. I don't know.
No, but that's the thing. And again, it just energizes the people that did take time out of their day on a rainy Saturday morning. It just energizes the volunteers that showed up, the people that were there for the Americans for Prosperity Big Bad Breakfast about the one big beautiful bill. It energized them to know that this is a fight here at the grassroots level. We have a lot to fight for, and we have a lot to stand up for, and there are discussions that we need to have, and it's those people that were outside screaming expletives and trying to shut down the event. It's those kind of people that are energizing our kind of people to realize that it's a fight we are in every single day. So hey, their effort absolutely backfired.
Well, I mean, no doubt. And whatever and I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt to local news, whether it's Fox and I'm glad they came out. Like, I'm glad that News Channel 5 was out there. I'm glad Fox was out there. I don't know who else was out there. The Nashville Banner article was ridiculous because, I mean, they said things that I just did not experience. Like, talking about, Andy Ogles was, he called them knuckleheads. I would have called them a lot worse. But suggesting that there was some sort of equity in terms of the positions of the two groups, like the two groups were on equal. No, there was one group that was acting the fool and screaming and yelling and shouting nasty language. And there was another group of people that were trying to have a reasonable discussion. And by the way, the first group could have been a part of that discussion had they simply identified themselves, sat quietly during the opening remarks, and waited for the Q&A opportunity, which was at the end of the event. And I walked around and randomly picked people that were holding up their hands. I don't know these people. So to suggest that he wasn't taking open questions from the audience is not true. We all saw him do it.
True.
And if you just act right on the front end, if you have legitimate questions, you can get them answered on the back end.
Right.
But that's not what they wanted.
No, that's not what they want. That's not what they want. And look, I mean, from a news photographer standpoint, I'm talking about the two News Channel 5 and Fox 17. I mean, what is it they say? What bleeds, it leads, right? Yeah. And so, can't blame them for taking the photos. The loud folks that were outside, but to say that they weren't allowed in because they were just constituents who wanted to hear from their congressman is just not accurate. That is not accurate information. I don't know who has written it that way, but that is not true. The disruptors were asked to leave, to not be inside and disturb people just trying to eat breakfast.
Well, I don't know.
And they were disturbing people on our side and inside the restaurant. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know if Sarah Grace Taylor, who wrote this story for the Nashville Banner, was the one taking photos. I would love to. I guess photo credit was from Martin Sherry. So
he was the banner photographer.
He was the banner for, and I don't know how many pictures he took, but one of the 4 that he chose to run was of me waving at someone in the back of the room that I had not seen in a while, and I just can't imagine why he would have picked that photo to. All
I know is that's the picture that I have now of you in my phone.
Well, good. I think I look pretty good. I'm saying hey to I'm saying hey to folks.
Very friendly. Very friendly.
I'm trying to be as friendly as possible, but yeah. So, well, it was a great event, and thank you for coming on and giving your perspective. I mean, it was a group of rabble-rousers that wanted to shut down free speech versus people that wanted to hear from their congressman. That's what I saw.
And they failed.
They failed.
Yes.
The only criticism that I have of the event is that right after we wrapped up, I was heading directly to the buffet to grab some of that delicious sausage. And then I was asked to say a few words to Fox 17. And by the time I got there, everything was all tight and wrapped up. And so
I wish you'd have told me.
I didn't get any sausage or bacon, so
I would have sent the bacon and sausage home with you. Instead, it did go to the Spring Hill Police Department, but I would have sent it home with you.
Oh, good for you. No, they need it more than I did. Certainly, that's the case. Pamela, thank you for everything.
You're welcome.
All right,
Thank you.
Here's Pamela Furr, formerly of Supertalk 99.7 WTN, now with AFP, giving her perspective on the Saturday morning event. We'll get your perspective on the North Carolina attack, amongst other things. It's 53 after the hour on Supertalk. Friends, go where the pros go. Go to Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Listen, it's September, and now's the time. I know that we're kind of winding down, grass cutting season. We're winding down a season where you're really concerned about making sure the lawn looks its best. We got a month or two, though, and now I'm told by the pros at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply that September and October in Tennessee, they are the ideal months for fall seeding. Right? They have their exclusive proven turf technology and their tall fescue blend and premium starter fertilizers and top quality seeds and herbicides at the best prices right now at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Now, if you're not sure exactly what you should be putting on your lawn, allow the experts to help you. I mean, right? They know what they're doing at Dickens. I can't say that for the big box stores. I mean, sure, there's a lot of folks walking around in a lot of fancy, brightly colored vests, but I don't believe that they understand lawns and fertilizer and herbicide or that sort of thing like Dickens. In fact, I know they don't. Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply, that's where the pros go, and you should go there as well. 7 Middle Tennessee locations or online at DickensSupply.com. That's DickensSupply.com.
Well, we got an update on the Jeffrey Epstein files coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's mere seconds from now, as we ran a little bit long in the last segment. My apologies for that. 4 o'clock almost on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'll give you my impression of the debate from Friday night in the 7th Congressional District. It is difficult to analyze a debate like that in the moment. But I'll explain all of that for you in just a moment. Plus, we'll give you our take on the tragedy in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the media's lack of coverage of it. That is on the way in hour number 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Stand by.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in our nation's capital, the Republican-led House Oversight Committee has new documents and communications from the Jeffrey Epstein estate, including a copy of the alleged birthday book that the Wall Street Journal reported was compiled for Epstein's birthday in 2003 that allegedly contains a one-page letter with a drawing from Donald Trump. ABC News, Washington, D.C. Bureau Managing Editor Catherine Faulders following the latest developments.
Democrats who say that they received this letter from Jeffrey Epstein's estate when these documents were turned over today. You could see what is allegedly Donald Trump's signature there. I will say that the White House is disputing that is his signature, but the reality is this is the letter that we are now seeing for the first time since that report from the Wall Street Journal back a couple months ago, claiming that Trump did in fact sign this letter that was included in that birthday book given to Epstein for his 50th birthday.
Well, the president's denied writing the letter and filed a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the Journal's owner. Right now in Tennessee, Channel 4's Lydia Fielder says a 12-year-old has been arrested in DeKalb County for making a threat against his school.
The student got out of the car line last week, and as he was walking into the school, he told another student he had a gun in his backpack and would shoot up the school. And someone, gladly is what he said. The witness then told the teacher that. Well, the 12-year-old boy admitted to making the threat. The school resource officer said there were no weapons or threatening notes actually found.
Yeah, President Trump still dedicated to giving the right to pray in public schools. He spoke to the White House Religious Liberty Commission today.
I'm pleased to announce this morning that the Department of Education will soon issue new guidance protecting the right to prayer in our public schools.
Yeah, he's making remarks today at the Museum of the Bible. And pray you don't get this. A deadly disease spread by a bug's feces after it bites you on the face is now infecting people in the U.S., including Tennessee. It's called the kissing bug because it usually bites people on the face as they sleep, and then when you swipe at it, you unknowingly rub its feces into the bite and the infection can start. It's called Chagas disease, already endemic in 21 countries, and as I said, now there are human cases in 8 states here in the U.S., including Tennessee, and if not treated, it can become chronic and last a lifetime and lead to heart failure. These kissing bugs, they look like stink bugs, but they're typically dark with red or orange markings. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, police still working a crash 40 westbound past White Bridge Pike, Briley Parkway West. That's going to be exit 204. And I'm seeing on westbound 24, drivers having to come to a complete stop at times. Therefore, something that's going on at Harding Place, westbound 24. Not sure exactly what that is, but yeah, it is definitely stop and go there, westbound 24 up to Harding Place. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is hour number 2 of our Monday, September 8 edition of the Matt Murphy Show. Thank you for being around with us. Have you not delivered your turkey hat to Ken Weaver as of yet there, Jackson?
Have not. We're going to save it for the Sports Minute, remember?
Right. We had to suspend the Sports Minute because we were running a little bit tardy, and we're going to do that in the 4 o'clock hour. The Action Jackson Sports Minute coming up a little bit later on this hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Exactly 60 seconds of consolidated good sports content. 60 seconds on the nose. I expect it to be 60 seconds, no longer than 60 seconds, no shorter. 60 seconds on the nose, as counted up by me, your host.
I'm going to scream about the Titans and try not to swear.
Oh, my goodness.
Fiddlesticks.
Cam Ward looked all right.
Cam Ward looked all right.
I mean, it's a progression, right?
Yeah. It's just, we'll talk about it at 4:55.
We'll talk about it then on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll also talk about the debate from this past Friday at some point this hour next on Super Talk, and I'm curious if you have any thoughts on it. If you have those thoughts, get them into us at 615-737-9986. I'll say this. If you listened, I appreciate it. If you did not, you can catch it. I know it's on the podcast page, 997WTN.com. The audio is, and I believe we're getting audio up on the YouTube page. You can find that on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So the audio is available online. If you listened or were in attendance, I would be very curious as to your thoughts, because it's difficult. You know that, my role as a talk show host is to ask questions, to probe deeper on subject matters that are of interest to me, to hold political figures accountable, and to speak for you through this radio platform. And frankly, y'all know me well enough by now to know that I don't suffer fools gladly. I don't appreciate being treated. Let me say it more precisely. I do not appreciate the audience being treated like they're dumb. And sometimes we get that with, deflection or subterfuge or whatever. And that's what's going to set me off more than anything. Look, you don't have to agree with me on anything. I'll give you a good example. Some have asked about my reaction to Gino Bolso's response to my question about medical marijuana. Gino Bolso and I are going to disagree on this matter. And I believe that we'll have a good opportunity at some point between now and October 7th to have a conversation about our disagreement on this matter. But it was not my place to disagree with him Friday night. It was my place to ask questions and to have those questions answered by the candidates on the stage, and then allow the audience to absorb those answers and to find appreciation or a lack of appreciation in the answers given, depending on what your perspective might be, depending on what your point of view might be. I thought it was a good debate amongst the top-tier candidates of the 7th Congressional District. I mentioned at the opening of the show that obviously there are more candidates. There was one person that wrote wrote me and said, I'm not listening to this debate because you're not allowing Stuart Parks on stage. Well, a couple of things. Number one, Stuart Parks could have been on stage. All he had to do was demonstrate that he had money in his campaign to win an election. And it was not my call as to where to cut it off, and it was not my call as to where to set that money in terms of in your campaign coffers. For those who were not listening last week, a poll was done, and the top 3 poll getters were invited on the stage. And then after that, anyone that demonstrated, I think it was $250,000 within their political campaign, which is a fair amount of money to mount a challenge over the last month of this political special election cycle, was allowed on stage too. And I think that's how Matt Van Epps was there. So you had Matt Van Epps, Jody Barrett, Gina Bolso, and Lee Reeves. By the way, Lee Reeves just picked up a couple of endorsements for those who get into that sort of thing. I don't get into endorsements. I don't necessarily believe in them. I don't offer them. I'll tell you whom I'm supporting. I'll tell you who I'm voting for if I have a vote in a given election, but I don't endorse candidates because I think I think it's silly. But for those who value the opinion of others when analyzing these types of things, I think Lee Reeves picked up a couple of big endorsements. I think Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson endorsed him. Jack was at the debate, by the way, watching the proceedings, and I imagine maybe that was a part of his decision-making process as to why he selected Lee Reeves and came out with his endorsement just the last few hours from now. All of that to say, we'll dissect that as best as I can, but when you're in the moment and you're asking the questions and you're engaged in the moderation as I was, as Michael Lotfi was, it's a little bit more difficult to step away far enough to kind of get the feel of the room and who's winning and who's losing. But I think it was, every contestant that was on the stage, every candidate on the stage said that they felt like it was a good 2 hours. And, if every candidate's complaining or every candidate's happy, then I think we did our job. If half of them are complaining, half of them are happy, then maybe we didn't. So I'll take that as a victory for the 7th Congressional District, not for me or not for AFP, but for the 7th Congressional District. All that to say, have you ever, y'all remember the movie A Time to Kill? A Time to Kill has been referred to as a kind of a modern retelling of To Kill a Mockingbird in a lot of ways, starring fabulous actors like Kevin Spacey was in that movie. I think Donald Sutherland was in that movie. Samuel L. Jackson was in that movie, and Matthew McConaughey was in that movie. I thought of this film over the weekend. More specifically, I thought of the closing monologue by Matthew McConaughey over the weekend. Do y'all remember that monologue? Matthew McConaughey is representing Samuel Jackson, and some of the it's been a long time since I've seen the movie, but Samuel L. Jackson, his daughter was violently raped in the film and killed. Was she killed? I can't remember. But I remember that Samuel L. Jackson took the law into his own hands, and he is now on trial for murder. And in his defense, Matthew McConaughey asked the jurors to close their eyes, and he painted a picture for them that culminated in this.
Beaten, broken body, soaked in their urine, soaked in their semen, soaked in her blood, left to die. Can you see her? I want you to picture that little girl. Now imagine she's white.
You remember that scene? It's incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. The suggestion being that the jury perhaps did not fully appreciate the value of that little girl's life as her father did because she was a black girl. Incredibly powerful in the way that it presented how we view things, perhaps depending on race. As powerful a moment, or certainly almost as powerful a moment as the famous end to To Kill a Mockingbird, where Atticus Finch does not get justice. For the victim that he was seeking justice for. And yet still he won the appreciation of the town. And, you know, there's that famous stand up, scout, your father's passing. Imagine that she's white. It was a scene that I thought of over the weekend. I'm not trying to over-dramatize this when I say it. That if this woman in Charlotte, North Carolina was black, it would be splashed on every single television network in the United States of America. If the race of the assailant was different and the race of the victim was different. And I defy any one of you to tell me I'm wrong, because I know I'm not. And just as that scene in A Time to Kill reminds us that justice and our treatment of these situations ought to be blind to the color of one's skin, and that there have been times in America's history that we have not lived up to that blind justice. And we have not lived up to the promise offered to us in the Declaration of Independence. I thought of that scene because, sadly, I look at a mainstream media now that has decided that they are going to cover stories based on skin color. They are going to decide which stories merit their networks, obviously based on who's doing the killing and what color they are, and who's doing the dying and what color they are. I guarantee you that if Chicago, Illinois had 9 or 10 or 11 people die per weekend and they were all black and they were dying because white people were killing them, they'd be covering that too. And is it okay that we talk about this? Is it not fair that we talk about this? Because some will suggest, listening to this radio show, that I'm the bad guy for bringing it up. How am I the bad guy for calling out what is clearly racially biased in terms of the reporting of ABC and NBC and CBS and NBC? And I can give you example after example of what I'm talking about. Yet I can't show you an example of CNN, hashtag never CNN, covering this story from over the weekend. I can't give you an example of, I mean, maybe there's something that happened today that I missed, but I looked for it all weekend long and I couldn't find it on any national network. And I struggle pronouncing this woman's name, and I am sorry in advance for doing so, but I'm going to offer you some of the details of this story involving the victim, Irna Zarutska. And I could be mangling that, and if I am, I'm sorry. Sadly, I've not heard it pronounced a lot because I've not seen a lot of reporting on this story. I've read it. Irna, I-R-Y-N-A, Irna Zarutska, Z-A-R-U-T-S-K-A. a Ukrainian refugee, by the way, who fled from that war-torn region, who settled in Charlotte. A gruesome video has emerged of this 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee going on to Charlotte light rail and being stabbed to death. And I believe that the coverage of this case has been spiked by media networks because she's white. That's my accusation. Or because she appears white. And what I want to do, and the reason that I brought up A Time to Kill and the reason that I compared these two situations is I want to look at these mainstream media networks and I want to ask them to close their eyes and imagine that this woman is black and that she was slaughtered by a white person. I don't take any pleasure in bringing this up, but I do this to suggest to you that they're not covering it because of this. Violent crime is a problem. No matter how much Freddie O'Connell wants to pretend it's not in Nashville, no matter how much the Memphis mayor wants to pretend it's not a problem in Memphis, no matter how much they want to cover it up, and they get to do so in large part because the mainstream media will not cover the crime problem that exists in Chicago, that exists in Baltimore, Maryland, that exists in many of these blue-run cities, and that's largely because it's black-on-black crime. And their lives are valuable, too. Their lives matter, too. Black lives matter. CNN? And in this case, a most egregious example of allowing lawlessness to fester in your community and to allow a clearly mentally deranged human being to walk free on the streets until such time as they decide to kill. And now you won't cover it because you think it doesn't fit your narrative, which is exactly why they're not covering it. And it does anger me. Because about 10 minutes ago, these networks cared about Ukraine. About 10 minutes ago, these networks cared about refugees. About 10 minutes ago, these networks cared about killing. And then suddenly they don't care. And you and I all know why they're not covering this story. And it's disgusting. 615-737-9986, 24 after the hour. You're listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy for Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds is your go-to source for all things sparkle in our community. And let me tell you something, folks. At Genesis Diamonds, you get experts that are passionate about diamonds, and they will show you the ins and outs of buying a diamond, and they don't work on commission, which is nice, right? So you know that they're not trying to upsell you on anything. Genesis is also your source for hand-picked GIA-certified diamonds at the guaranteed best price. Ovals and rounds and princess cuts and emerald cuts and heart-shaped and pear-shaped and cushion-cut diamonds. Now, I don't know what all of those look like, but I know that Genesis Diamonds knows what they look like, and I know the lady in your life knows what they look like. And here's the deal. They will feed you baby birds when you walk through the door. They'll give you a beverage of your choosing. They'll walk you through the showroom. They'll explain to you the buying process, and they will help you find the right thing for you, whether it's anniversary, birthday, or if you're getting on the knee, if you're bending the knee and asking the big question, they've got you covered at Genesis. No compromises. Green Hills and Cool Springs. When you walk through the doors, announce that Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Genesis Diamonds. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Nashville Wellness Institute, or I should say the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Say it right, Murphy. You know who it is? It's Dr. Mitch. I made the switch to Dr. Mitch, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the crew at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and I encourage you to do the same thing. Here's the bottom line, folks. If it hurts, y'all know where it hurts, right? Is it in your shoulder, your neck, your knee, your hip, your elbow? You need to avoid surgery at all costs. I tried to do that. I have done so with my back, 2 locations, my upper back and my lower back. Was not able to do so with my shoulder. That was a different deal altogether. But I knew with confidence that I needed the surgery that I got with my shoulder because of the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They know that pain is bad, and they want to help that pain any way they can. And surgery is always an option, but it should be the last one. So if you are taking painkillers, if you're engaged in spinal injections, my goodness gracious, let's get to the Wellness Institute. Right now, they still got that Big Daddy Trump special going on, $12, comprehensive examination, x-rays, and a well-explained diagnosis for $12. They want you to see the technology that's available for you to eliminate that pain in your life. It's the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Painisbad.com, that's painisbad.com, or 615-246-5009.
Right now in Middle Tennessee, a man is accused of grabbing a teenage girl outside the AMC Theater in Bellevue. And wait until you hear what he told the arresting officers. Coming up at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's so funky. I can't get in the middle of it. I know. Keep it going. I just can't. I can't get in front of that. Got it roll. Where'd you find that? I mean, that's good stuff. You just keep that up. You just keep that up, young man. It's getting me fired up for the week.
That's the way to play that funky music, Brother Jackson.
Play that funky music, comma, white boy,
yes,
period. Who said that?
Who did sing
Who
that
said
song?
that?
Play that funky music, white boy.
Play that funky music. And I don't know. That wasn't Cool in the Gang. Who was that?
No, I think it was a white guy who sang it.
Was it?
Who? What? Now we got to look it
up.
We should know this.
I'm embarrassed. I'm just waiting for I'm waiting for the explosion on the super text line. There's going to be a slight delay, and then there will be explode. Wild Cherry.
Play that.
Okay. I never would have gotten Wild Cherry.
Yeah. Wild Cherry.
Although I do appreciate a delicious Pepsi Cola Wild Cherry Zero.
You know what?
Ooh, good stuff.
That is good.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot deny that.
Wild Cherry. I see. I wouldn't have gotten that one. I want to say, any name of any band that I would say would now embarrass me. So I'm just going to say thank you. It was not KC and the Sunshine Band. Who said that? That was actually one of my guesses. That was SATURDAY night. You know who's going to be celebrating Saturday night? You know who's going to sing that song all the way home from Knoxville, Tennessee?
Me.
No, that's not true. If Tennessee wins and you actually get a ride home with me, you're not allowed to speak. That's going to be the rule. I'm just going to establish. I'm going to say, Jackson, you can either have a ride home and not talk, or you can walk home and celebrate all you want.
I'll wait till we get past the point of no return, and then I'll start talking. Like you're dropping me
somewhere.
We're pulling into the neighborhood, and I just start letting you have it.
Just yakking. Matt, I wanted to get to you, and Ryan, I wanted to get to you, but I am out of time for this segment, but we're getting to your next segment. Listen, y'all tell me if I'm wrong or out of bounds, but I think you all know that I am right, that the media coverage of this story, this is a tragedy, and it was a tragedy that was wholly preventable. It is way past time that we have a discussion about mental health and the lack thereof. And I don't want to hear any more about not needing more mental institutions. Friends, I understand the Constitution. I understand what it means to ask this of you, but we've got to have a discussion about locking these people up. More on that in a moment. It's past time on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Middle Tennessee, a man is accused of grabbing a teenage girl outside the AMC Theater in Bellevue yesterday. Channel 4 says it happened around 4:30 yesterday afternoon.
Police say when they got on scene, the suspect, 31-year-old Jackson Challoner, said, quote, "It's not illegal to touch someone's butt." Witnesses who spoke with police say Challoner tried to pull the girl's pants down. It's cases like these that the Sexual Assault Center says a lot of the time goes unreported, and that filing a report sends the message that these types of actions are not the norm.
The bravery of the people who report is a way of saying we are no longer going to tolerate, as a community, as a society, as a family, as individuals, these types of behaviors.
That's Channel 4's Steve Mailing reporting. And the Republican-led House Oversight Committee in our nation's capital has new documents and communications from the Jeffrey Epstein estate, including a copy of the alleged birthday book that the Wall Street Journal claims was compiled for Epstein's birthday in 2003, and which the Journal claims contains a one-page letter with a drawing from Donald Trump. ABC News, Washington, D.C. Bureau Managing Editor Catherine Valters is following the latest developments.
The Deputy Chief of Staff at the White House is posting on X, a post that's been then retweeted by the White House account. He's saying, Taylor Budowich is saying that that's not his signature and saying that it's defamation. He's posting a number of photos, of other photos of Trump's signature, claiming that those don't add up to the signature that is on this page released by the House Oversight Democrats.
Yeah, President Trump has filed a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal's owner. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, you're coming to a complete stop once you head eastbound 440 from 65, either north or southbound. It is stop and go eastbound 440 between 65 and I-24. Look for the brake tap-in as you go eastbound 24 from 440. Also, basically 24 eastbound between downtown and the eastern split. Then northbound 65 on that north leg downtown. That is stop and go up to 24. I'm Ken Weaver.
You know, we try to talk about it on the radio show when issues involving the Second Amendment come up. It is one thing to have your Second Amendment rights enforced. It's one thing to keep and to carry, to keep and to bear arms. It's another thing to understand how to use that gun. And friends, I carry guns, I own guns, and owning and carrying is not enough. You have to be trained how to use them. Training is more than just renting a lane. Sadly, it just doesn't cut it. Once you have learned to squeeze the trigger on a lane and fire downrange, you've done just basically all that you can do at a lane range. But when you go into the Shoot 270 indoor shooting rooms at the Glock store, you're dealing with personalized training from accomplished instructors. You're engaged in a way that you can't engage on a lane. And it's as simple as this. There's a lot of firing that's going on a lane. You can't communicate with your instructor, even if you have one. Oftentimes you don't have one. With the shooting rooms that you enjoy at shoot270.com and the Glock store, you can engage multiple targets at varying distances. You can draw. Owning a gun is a responsibility. I want you to get trained up as best as possible. Learn how to use it at the Glock store and their incredible shooting lane. Shoot270.com, shoot270.com. Make an appointment, fill out a waiver, and let the training begin. Minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. It's the Glock store. All right. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Let's have a discussion about Irina Zarutska, the 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee who was stabbed to death on a Charlotte light rail train. It is a flashpoint on the issue of crime in our cities. And this response by the Charlotte mayor is just ridiculous. Charlotte, North Carolina. I may have just said it wrong. I apologize. The unprovoked attack happened shortly before 10 p.m. August 22nd. We're just talking about it now because the video has just been made available. The victim is a refugee who you would think fits all of the criteria to be highlighted as an example of unfortunate crime that's happening in our larger cities across the United States of America, in as much as she fled war-torn Ukraine. And I thought, all of these folks that have the little Ukrainian flag on their X posts, on their little descriptions, I would think y'all would care about this woman, but apparently nobody wants to talk about this on the political left. Video of the attack shows Zarutska entering the train car. And, this is much like a subway, light rail. She takes a seat. She sits down, and she's facing in the same direction as the individual who is behind her and to her left. So it's two seats on one side of the train car, the subway car, and she's in the right-hand side of these two seats, facing in a direction. Behind her and to the left of her is the assailant. The assailant, I've watched the video. I do not recommend it. It's awful. Because you know what's going to happen, and you see it happen, and I've got a couple of things to say about how people responded to it in just a moment, but video of the attack shows the assailant. The train travels for about 4 minutes before the suspect, seemingly out of nowhere, pulls a knife from his pocket, unfolds the knife, stands up, and stabs the victim 3 times, kills her. Dead. The suspect, 34-year-old DeCarlos Brown, was then arrested upon leaving the train. Blood visibly dripping on the floor as he walked from the victim. The victim is unresponsive because she's dead. She was killed. There appeared to be no interaction whatsoever between the victim and DeCarlos Brown prior to his decision to take her life. Brown has 14 previous court cases in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison for robbery with a dangerous weapon, breaking and entering, and larceny. Charlotte Mayor Vi, or I guess it's Vi or V Lyles, offered her condolences, saying the video of the heartbreaking, well, I'll read you her entire ex-post from over the weekend. This happened on September 6th, so that would have been Saturday. She writes, stand by now. My computer's going to kind of try to screw with me. The video of the heartbreaking attack that took Irina Zarutska's life is now public. I want to thank our media partners and community members who have chosen not to show or not to repost or share the footage out of respect for Irina's family. It was senseless and tragic loss. My prayers remain with her loved ones as they continue to grieve through an unimaginable time. Like so many of you, I'm heartbroken, and I've been thinking hard about what safety really looks like in our city. I remain committed to doing all we can to protect our residents and ensure Charlotte is a place where everyone feels safe. So you're thanking your friends in the leftist media for refusing to face the violent crime that exists in your city. I guess that's one approach to take. I think, sadly, that we need to look at this. I understand why some might disagree, but I think you need to look at this. I think you need to understand what's going on. Is it a one-off? No, it's not a one-off. Is it rare? Yeah, it's rare, thank God, but it's getting less and less and less rare as we allow, sadly, individuals with clear mental instability on our streets. All of you know what I'm talking about. Now, I keep and bear, okay? But unfortunately, we have so many gun-free zones in and around Nashville, Tennessee, that there are times where I don't have my gun on me because I have to go into an area where I feel like I might get called out on it. I'm willing to judge that on a case-by-case basis, but the point being, you're told not to take a weapon into the subway. You're told not to take a weapon on public transit. You're told that that's illegal, and you're a law-abiding citizen, and so you're trying to follow the law. And a lot has been made of what these folks did who were on the subway car or on the light rail system at the time of this assault. Well, if I'm unarmed and he's got a knife, look, I would like to say that there's something that I could do. Nobody could have prevented the attack before it happened, right? The idea is, would it be possible to subdue the individual after the attack? And I agree with 9009. I don't know what a gun-free zone is, and I've never seen one of those signs in my life, okay? But on the one hand, the people of Charlotte, the officials in Charlotte and in Nashville and in Atlanta. Let's just keep it in the Southeast, y'all. Birmingham, Alabama. Savannah, Georgia. All these leftist local officials say, don't bring your guns in here. We got you covered. The police will protect you. When you're being assaulted, the police are just minutes away, they say. You know, another case came to my mind, too. I mentioned the A Time to Kill, where Matthew McConaughey implored the jury to strip color away from this, or at least to get closer to this issue by imagining that this little girl was white and not black. And it's a sad testimony, but a very emotional one. And I ask you to imagine the media coverage if the races were reversed in this situation, if it was a white man that attacked a black woman on this subway car, where the media would be on this story. How many times would we have to hear, in Donald Trump's America, blah, 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 blah. You're not hearing anything. They're ignoring the story. Absolutely ignoring it. But there was another case that I thought of, and that was the case of Daniel Penny. Do y'all remember Daniel Penny? So based on the media coverage of this young woman, this 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee, Irina Zarutska, based on the lack of that media coverage on the national scene, I guess if Daniel Penny had just allowed, what was his name, Jordan Neely, had allowed Jordan Neely to just do his worst, and Jordan Neely had killed a white girl on that subway, we wouldn't have heard anything about it. But because Daniel Penny decided to defend himself and to defend the fellow riders of that subway, and unfortunately, Jordan Neely died as a result, it was a damn national news story. Why? Why? Why was that national news and this is not national news? I'd love to know your thoughts. Let's talk to Ryan, who is next up. Ryan, thank you for your patience. How are you?
Yes. How are you guys today?
Wonderful, Ryan. Thank you for calling in.
Wonderful. Yeah, well, thank you. Well, I would actually like to comment on the last thing you just said. It wasn't part of my call, but I am married to I'm a white man, 47 years old. I'm married to a black woman, 47 years old. We have 3 wonderful children. And to answer your question of what you just talked about, I believe it has to do with people that do not believe that people of different color can love each other and come together with each other. They have to make it into a racial issue. And that's what I'd like to say about that. What do you think?
I agree with you. I mean, I think that it does not fit the narrative agenda. I think that many of these mainstream media networks, they think they can attract eyeballs to whatever narrative they're trying to push based on dividing us. I believed that in 2020, Ryan. I do not believe that there's nearly the division amongst black and white people and brown people and you know, people of all races and all ethnicities and all backgrounds. I don't believe there's nearly the division that is presented in the mainstream media. I think they use this as a way to get eyeballs and to get ratings, and I think it's shameful.
And I would agree with you 100% because there are so many people that love each other out there.
100%.
The reason I did call real quick was I just got word from my aunt that my grandmother has about 2 days before hospice has decided to take her down. And I was just curious. I'm not real up to date about the real ID. You know, I'm here in Nashville. All of them are in Houston. I tried to get a flight to go and fly, and they're like, well, do you have a real ID? No, I don't. Do you have a passport? No, I don't. But I do have a government-issued driver's license, and I do have a Social Security card. And they're saying I need to talk to TSA. Do you know, is there anything else that I could do other than going through that runaround to be able to actually book a flight? Because I can't do a 14-hour road trip.
I think, and I will have to look it up. I don't know if Ken's listening right now, but I think that you have missed the deadline on Real ID. So there was a point where to take a flight, you were going to have a real ID or a passport, or you're going to have to go through some sort of special. I don't even know what you could do at this point if you don't have those two things to fly. I'm guessing maybe there's some sort of specialty circumstance provision that you can appeal to the TSA about, and I guess that's what they're telling you to do.
Yeah, it's what it sounds like. Sounds like a runaround, but I appreciate it. You guys always do great, and I love listening to you. Thank you so much.
When do you have to travel, Ryan?
It needs to be Saturday the 20th, so I've got about 2 weeks. So I'm going to call the DMV here in Ashland City and see what I can do about my.
Hold on, and don't go anywhere yet.
They will issue you a temporary permit until you get your actual real ID license.
There you go.
Oh, is that you, Brother Ken?
That's Ken Weaver.
Me.
Ken Weaver delivering the real news. So
so just talk to the DMV.
Talk to the DMV and get an appointment.
Get an appointment, man. Get an appointment. I'm telling you, that's the best way to do it.
You have the time to get a real ID.
Yes.
You just need to get an appointment as soon as possible. You need to be flexible with them, and like Ken just said, they'll give you some sort of temporary authorization that will get you on a flight.
Man, thank you so much, guys. I hope, God bless you.
Well, God bless you. Call us back, Ryan, and let us know how it goes.
Yes, sir.
And I'll tell you what, we'll take a break now, but Ken Weaver's got a story that he presented on his social media platform, Facebook, I think it was, about his experience with a real ID, and we'll share that with you maybe in the 5 o'clock hour. It's 4:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Friends, the Nashville Safe House is simply the go-to location when it comes to buying a safe in this community. I broke bread with Mark of the Safe House just a few days ago, and he's excited. He's excited about the opportunity that he presents to you to get yourself a safe of any shape, any size, to protect yourself better in your home. Now, we're protecting from theft, of course. We want to make sure that your valuables are safe from theft, but we're also protecting from fire, and they have tremendous fire ratings at the Nashville Safe House. They've got safes of every shape, size that you can possibly imagine. They have some that are smaller, biometrics or jewelry-based safes. They have corporate safes, and they, of course, have the ever-popular gun safes that are always sales tax-free at Nashville Safe House. You just have to see the selection to understand what we're talking about. There's about 200 on site in their showroom, another 400 or so in the warehouse. It's pretty impressive. Across the street from City Cemetery and on 4th Avenue South, I want you to go see them online always at NashvilleSafeHouse.com. That's NashvilleSafeHouse.com.
5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes, and President Trump is committed to fighting what he says is anti-Christian bias. Speaking today at the White House Religious Liberty Commission, he announced new guidance is coming from the Department of Education aimed at protecting prayer in public schools.
There is a tremendous anti-Christian bias. We don't hear about it. We don't think about it. You hear about anti-Semitic, but you don't hear about anti-Christian. Now, you have a strong anti-Christian bias, but we're ending that rapidly, I will tell you.
Trump, speaking at the Museum of the Bible, announced that his personal family Bible, which was given to him by his mother and used during both of his inaugurations, would be displayed at the museum. President Trump again today said he's ready and willing to clean up crime in Chicago.
We're waiting for a call from Chicago. We'll fix Chicago.
Meanwhile, in the UK, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem commented,
"We can run as many operations every single day as we need to keep America safe. So nothing's on hold. Everything is full speed ahead."
Trump using the same justification he used to send troops into Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles. And speaking of ICE raids in Los Angeles, we've got news on that from the U.S. Supreme Court.
The justices have for now set aside a ruling in June that blocked ICE officers in and around L.A. from profiling based on where a person works, whether they speak Spanish, or based on their race or ethnicity. Some U.S. citizens say they were caught up in the stops. Concurring in the move, conservative Justice Brett Kavanaugh writes that citizens would be, quote, free to go after the brief encounter. But dissenting liberal Sonia Sotomayor says, quote, we should not have to live in a country where the government can seize anyone who looks Latino, speaks Spanish, and appears to work a low-wage job.
That's Stephen Portnoy reporting. Chief Justice John Roberts pausing a lower court's ruling that fired Democratic Federal Trade Commissioner Rebecca Slaughter be allowed back on the job, but she's defiant.
Congress designed these agencies like the FTC, like the Fed, like the SEC, the whole panoply of independent agencies to have bipartisan voices so that there could be accountability and transparency.
And the mid-decade redistricting battle ahead of the midterm elections moves today to Missouri, where Republicans are likely to gain one more seat in the U.S. House by eliminating the district represented by Democratic Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, who tells ABC News.
There's nothing about this that looks good. It's a B movie that's dragging on and on and on.
And the latest patient to get an experimental pig kidney transplant says he's about to return to work. Bill Stewart, who received the experimental kidney in June, says he did it to help advance the science of xenotransplantation.
I just had an ultrasound yesterday on Wednesday, and he said, Dr. Yella said, my kidney's doing absolutely wonderfully. It looks great.
Clinical trials poised to begin to test animal-to-human transplants, which supporters say could ease the organ shortage. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, in Lebanon, we've got debris in the road. It's 840 westbound at Couchville Pike, exit 67. Apparently, trash fell off of a truck and another vehicle, then ran over the trash. Highway Patrol there. In Laverne, TDOT's reporting a stalled vehicle off on the left shoulder, 24 eastbound before Old Hickory Boulevard. And right now, if you are eastbound 440, some of you are parked right there between 65 and 24. Very heavy getting over to 24, eastbound 440 from 65. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN halfway home, Matt Murphy Show. Thank you for being with us. 7 minutes after 5 o'clock, many of you getting off work, getting in your automobiles. I thank you for tuning in to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I certainly appreciate you tuning in to the Matt Murphy Show, and I'll try to entertain you on the way home, educate, inform, perhaps let you know a few things that you might not know about. While you're at work, we'll try to catch you up. Ken Weaver's back in the newsroom. He's got all the headlines that you need to know. Jackson Williams, a.k.a. J. Willie, a.k.a. Y2J, a.k.a. Action or Fraction Jackson. What was the new one we came up with? Apple Jacks, which is going to be my new favorite, is behind the controls, ensuring that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as humanly possible. We still have the Action Jackson football report, the football minute, I should say, coming up. Just a couple of minutes. I ran long. The chat group, it's awesome. It's so good. Can you give us a little taste of that on the? Can you give us a taste of that on the?
Ken, put yours on
the television side of things.
I did, and it made my left eye itch.
It might be a Temu deal. Yeah. There we go. Are we proud of our? Y'all think our families are proud of us now?
No.
Okay, very good. There we go. Kent, we got. I don't know how. Oh no, he's back. He's back at it. There we go.
I just do the news, boys.
I mean, I don't know who I'm looking at. I'm looking at Sam back there. I don't know why, but
yeah, the camera. I had to fix it.
You got it fixed yet?
Yeah, I'm on now.
Look at
the double behind me.
Oh, there you go. That's if you're not watching on television, you have no idea what we're doing. We're all wearing our turkey hats. Thank you to Mr. Bill from Hendersonville for offering us turkey hats. Now on the chat, on the YouTube chat, which gets kind of wild and crazy, they were talking about my shirt, and I don't know why they have a problem with my shirt. I'm wearing.
You got some stuff on it.
It's Rivalry week. What kind of stuff? You talking
there's
about
something.
here?
Yeah, there's something in that upper left corner.
Right here.
It's real ugly.
Is that the one you're looking at right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. You worried about that?
I'm not worried about it.
Does that concern you?
No, it doesn't concern me.
Is that that's the start of? Oh, grr.
I'm going to kick Ugga.
No, don't even. So Jackson,
you can't do that, brother.
I was like, Jackson, take it out on me.
I'm going to kick that dog.
Nobody. You can pet that dog.
I'm going to kick it.
Don't you kick that dog.
I'm going to pet it with my foot.
Don't even talk like that. You understand that there will be people that will take you seriously, and then I'll have to explain it away, and then suddenly we're in New Suit's office, and we're trying to have to explain why Jackson was threatening to kick a dog.
Well, and I mean, Ugga took care of Bevo. Bevo was getting all huffy on little Ugga. Ugga turned around and growled at him.
That's true. And by the way, y'all got a dog too?
Yeah, ours is cute.
Yeah, well, you want people threatening your dog over there in
ours can
Athens?
breathe out of its nose.
Ours has sinus issues, but that's okay. Makes him mean.
Little fella.
Makes him mean. Can't breathe right. He's got to wear one of those Tennessee sleep apnea deals at night just to get through the sleep.
In that doghouse.
Oh, man. Have you seen that doghouse? It's nice.
Also, if Tennessee was to win, I hope they get him off the field. Because I may be kidding, but somebody else isn't.
Do you honestly think you mentioned this? You said that if Tennessee wins this ball game, that you're rushing the field.
Yeah, I think they do.
Grown a man rushing the field.
Yes.
We're just the number 6 team in the country. I mean, we're nothing special.
It's more of the release of demons.
Haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, we haven't beat you since 16.
It's my understanding. I saw it on social media. It's my understanding that the Tennessee Volunteers have only lost one home football game since 2022.
You know who that was too, Ken?
Do you know who that was too, Ken?
That was to the University of Oklahoma Sooners.
It was not.
Oh, in 2022.
Yeah, since 22, they've only lost one home football game at Tennessee.
That'd have been Georgia.
Georgia Bulldogs. That's right.
Georgia Bulldogs.
And as a matter of fact, Georgia has not lost in Neyland Stadium since 2015.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a great game.
It is going to be a fun game.
You guys are going to be beating the hell out of each other, man.
Yeah, can we go ahead and do this? I think we should probably go ahead and do this so that we did it. And it is going to be a Monday event. We're not going to spend too long on it. We're going to get to more news. We're going to get to your telephone calls. I have some update on the Real ID. But I promised when Jackson came over as a permanent part of the Matt Murphy show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, I said, Jackson, as a little incentive, as a little bonus, as a little something, what about a little football minute during the fall season? And
yes,
Jackson said yes. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Action Jackson Football Minute.
What's happening?
What's going on, Jackson?
Nothing much.
We're gonna go NFL.
We are gonna go NFL. The Tennessee Titans opening up their season.
There we go. Got my hat on. I'm ready for you. Thank
Sorry,
you, Mr.
I don't
Bill.
have a cough button back here.
That's okay. Give yourself a minute, Jackson. You might want to settle your nerves before you start talking about the Tennessee Tennessee Titans.
So the Titans open up their season yesterday with a loss to the Denver Broncos in Denver.
Good defense.
Titans force 4 turnovers.
Goodness.
Can't score a touchdown. Have some very questionable play calling. The coach admits today that he was mistaken on a rule and that they should have challenged a play call that could have given them a first down late in the game.
That was the elbow, right?
Yes, the Alec Io Manor would have been a 21-yard gain on 1st and 20.
We're gonna give Coach Callahan the turkey of the week.
If that is something we're doing, I'll make him the turkey of the week.
Turkey of the week.
Because it was not a strong showing from the Titans. Weren't able to get into the end zone. Did you guys watch the game?
I did.
What were y'all's thoughts? I'm curious.
Not enough consistency on the offensive line.
You're right. They did have some injury there.
Yeah, and I thought it was a game of wasted opportunities for the Titans.
That is very well said, Ken. Wasted opportunities. Do you know how rare it is to turn a team over 4 times?
Yes.
I don't remember the last time the Titans did it.
In the NFL.
Don't remember the last time the Titans forced 4 turnovers in a game. And they only got 6 points off 4 turnovers.
I feel like the Titans had every opportunity to win that game.
They did.
I think that a combination of the Titans being opportunistic on defense and Bo Nix's seemingly willingness to give the game to Tennessee presented itself. But every time the offense had a chance at it, they squandered it.
No protection. There were some rookie moments from Cam Ward taking some bad sacks that would have gotten them a field goal. Just all around, the team didn't look prepared. 131 yards in penalties, 135 in total offense.
Goodness.
That'll kill you.
Oh, that's back on the coach, right?
Yeah, that's on the coach, isn't it?
I believe so, but we'll see how they bounce back this week. They have their home opener in Nissan Stadium against the L.A. Rams.
Man, the Rams are good.
Rams are good. Matt Stafford looked real good, and they won their game. I don't remember exactly who they played.
Yikes.
And one last note for the Sports Minute. Tennessee's going to whoop that Georgia behind
Okay.
Saturday afternoon in Neyland Stadium.
TikTok. I think we're done. Just give us the out. Just play the song again. That's an official out. No more football talk on the not football station as we finish up the Action Jackson Football Minute on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Now back to the real news. We discussed the sad situation in Charlotte, and I'm curious from your standpoint what we ought to do about it. I know that there aren't any easy answers when it comes to mental health issues that sadly have been exacerbated by drug use, have been exacerbated by pharmaceutical industries that are throwing drugs at it, and it does not seem to have any end in sight. More and more, our homeless population on our city streets in Nashville, in Charlotte, in Birmingham, Alabama, in Atlanta, Georgia, in Memphis, these homeless issues are a creation of mental health issues. I don't think it goes the other way around. I mean, certainly that is not exclusively who we're talking about when we're talking about our homeless. But it is a considerable portion of our homeless population. And it's not just homelessness, but we allow repeat offenders to get out again and again and again. And in part, they're doing so because of their inability to stand trial, their inability to understand right from wrong. And it begs the question, at some point, are we not going to look at a different way of doing this? Over and over again after these mass shootings, over and over again after incidents like we saw on video from August 22nd in Charlotte, we say we have to do something about mental health. And it feels like that is it's beginning to feel like that's our version of gun control, right? The liberals say, "Oh, we got to do something about gun control," and then we say, "Wait a minute, what about the Second Amendment? What about law-abiding citizens?" And then it's over. We say, "Hey, we've got to do something about mental health. We have to do something about getting people either voluntarily or non-voluntarily the help that they need to get them off the streets, to protect the citizenry, to make sure that they are not endangering the general population." And we're said, well, but they have rights too, and you can't involuntarily incarcerate them, and then that's just the end of it. Should that just be the end of it? Or do we need to do more? I do not take lightly the idea of incarcerating someone in a mental health institution involuntarily. I use the word incarceration. I don't know if that's the proper word even. Admitting them, getting them the help that they need. Is this not a discussion that we must have? Now, by all rights, this person in Charlotte should have been in jail. But they weren't. In the meantime, the Charlotte mayor doesn't want you to see the ugly truth. Why? Because she is, if you put the dots together, partially responsible for this individual being out. A soft on crime approach. Ask yourself if DA Glenn Funk in Nashville is doing everything in his power to make sure. I mean, did we not see with Jillian Ludwig? We had a case just like this, folks, where an individual, a repeat offender, was behind bars and was facing justice. And DA Glenn Funk said, I don't think we can prosecute this person because I don't think he's fit to stand trial. And sadly, a chancery judge said, he's not fit to stand trial. So if you're not fit to stand trial, do you get to walk? Apparently in that case you did, because this dude walked. And then later on, he fired indiscriminately near the Belmont campus and hit and killed Jillian Ludwig, and she's dead now. She doesn't get a second chance. Do you believe that Glenn Funk's doing everything in his power to make sure that people who are a danger to our community are locked up behind bars? I don't believe that. I don't believe we're doing enough to combat the scourge of the mental health issues that we see in front of us. I don't think we're doing enough investigating the pharmaceutical industry and asking ourselves whether we should be prescribing all of these psychotropic drugs in the manner that we are. I find it very curious that we're so willing to condemn. You know, I asked a question of the panel at the debate Friday night, and I'm not throwing shade at Gino Bolso, but he's the one that directly said, no, we shouldn't reschedule marijuana. We're so quick to, wag our finger about marijuana use or wag our finger about alcohol. But boy, we don't say anything when a pharmaceutical industry teams up with groups of doctors and then they just prescribe away till their heart's content. Is that making us a healthier country? Is that making us a healthier nation? Is that creating an atmosphere by which already mentally unstable people become more unstable and potentially they're pushed to? I don't know. I do not know the answer to that. But I want to have the conversation. If you are determined to be a danger to yourself or a danger to other people, we need a clear path by which you have to go get help. Have to go get help. And sadly, we pass on by these things because we feel like the chickens will never come home to roost near us, don't we? Have y'all ever been, let me ask you this question, and I'll get to your calls. We're lining them up at 615-737-9986. Have y'all ever been on public transportation, specifically a subway or a light rail, as it's called in this case, and had a crazy person on the car with you? I have. You're in a big city. In this case, it was Washington, D.C. for me. You can get on the metro. Well, you flew in, right? I flew in. So I don't have a gun. I don't have an ability to protect myself through lawful means, except with my hands, obviously. Willing to do that. But it puts you in a very interesting position when you get these crazies, and they're all the time they're on public transportation. All the time they're on buses. All the time they're on subway systems. And they come into a subway like Jordan Neely did on the subway train with Daniel Penny, and they take over a train and they dare anybody to say anything, and then they bully people around. At best, that's what you're getting. At worst, they mug. They get in people's face. They physically intimidate individuals into giving them money or whatever. Is this the America that we want to live in, or do we want to do something about these types of things? 615-737-9986, 23 after the hour on Super Talk. All right, for many of us, it's happening. Now, I don't have a lot of it happening for me, but if your hair is thinning, if your crown is disappearing, maybe your hair loss has you feeling that you're losing some of your identity, I've got good news for you. It's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I am discussing the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. We've all seen the pills and the lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They might help retain some of the hair that you still have, but folks, they just don't regrow the hair that you've lost. From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to their world-class doctors, it's not maybe your hair might regrow. It is guaranteed that your new hair will grow. Let me say it again. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. That's why Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, and it's why I recommend them to everyone. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 629-348-HAIR, 629-348-HAIR, or go online to advancedhair.com. That's advancedhair.com.
President Trump says there will be new guidance about prayer in public schools. That story and more at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I don't expect public education to get anything right. Why would I hand off my faith-based responsibilities to them? I've never understood that. I mean, and I've never understood it. And I know Ken will talk about it in the newscast here in just a moment, but I'm not, I'll wait until I hear what Donald Trump had to say about it like the rest of you. But I've said this for a long, long time. I don't trust public education with getting 2 + 2 right for the most part. I don't understand why we would trust public education to appropriately educate our children on faith-based practices. We need to pray more at home. We need to pray more in the morning and in the evening. And if you're doing that, I don't think I think your kid's going to be okay. That's just me. Because when you open up in public school where everyone is compelled to go, regardless of your religious faith, and we have the First Amendment that compels government to stay neutral on religious matters, what kind of prayer are they going to be doing? Hey, we pray to the fly. I mean, are we going to do a prayer to the flying spaghetti monster? Y'all know what I'm talking about? The Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster? We're going to do a prayer to that person or that entity, that spaghetti monster? I do not trust public schools to get any of that right. Aaron, we'll get to you momentarily. We'll talk about this subject. And 8001 says, if I hear Jody Barrett's name one more time, I'm going to vote Democrat. No, man, that's a good ad. Y'all, that's a good ad. Y'all, I know y'all want to hate on it, but that's a smart ad. Y'all don't hate on that ad. And I don't think that's Jody that's running that ad. I think it's a group that's associated with him. Anyway, it's 5:30, Super Talk 90.7 WT, and time for the news.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes, and President Trump says there will be new guidance about prayer in public schools. He was speaking at the Museum of the Bible to the White House Religious Liberty Commission he created within the Department of Justice to fight anti-Christian bias.
There is a tremendous anti-Christian bias. We don't hear about it. We don't think about it. You hear about anti-Semitic, but you don't hear about anti-Christian. Now, you have a strong anti-Christian bias, but we're ending that rapidly, I will tell you.
The new directives likely to expand upon guidance from Trump's first administration, which required educational agencies to confirm their policies did not infringe on religious expression and clarified students' rights to organize prayer groups, express religious beliefs, and pray during non-instructional time. A 2003 birthday gift to Jeffrey Epstein, purportedly from President Trump, has been turned over to congressional investigators. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee publicly released it online. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy with the latest.
Delivered in response to a subpoena to Jeffrey Epstein's estate, the 2003 birthday book contains a typewritten note that appears to be signed by Donald Trump. As reported by the Wall Street Journal in July, the letter is framed by the hand-drawn outline of a female figure. It includes the text, "Happy Birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." The president has sued the Wall Street Journal's owner, claiming the paper's report was fake. Now that the letter has been made public, a top White House communications aide claims it's not Trump's signature on the note.
And the president has sued the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion. And the latest patient to get an experimental pig kidney transplant says he's about to go back to work. Clinical trials poised to begin to test animal-to-human transplants, which supporters say could ease the organ shortage. Bill Stewart, who received the experimental kidney in June, says he did it to help advance the science.
I felt like it was an opportunity to kind of give other people potentially an opportunity to do the same thing that I just underwent. And kind of advance the science along. I've always been a little bit of a science nerd.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, police reporting a crash 24 eastbound at Briley Parkway South and in Woodbine, 440 eastbound right before Nolensville Pike. Priest Lake got a crash reported Murfreesboro Pike westbound at Edgehill Lake Drive. Then closer to downtown, the Metro Center, we got some police activity on the on-ramp, partially blocking it 65 northbound from Rosa Parks Boulevard. And in Antioch, a crash 24 eastbound at Harding Place. I'm Ken Weaver.
You know, they say that it's allergy season. What is that? That ragweed? Ragweed's all over the place, right? So if you're feeling the allergies and you need a location where you can get in quick to get a solution, I would recommend Grace Point Healthcare. You know, if you feel fatigued or maybe like you've lost a step, you might have allergy issues going on, or it might be something else. Grace Point Healthcare treats the whole body with a comprehensive medical approach, getting to the root of the problem, not just treating the symptoms of the problem. And they are able to do this because they're not beholden to any insurance company. And I love this about Grace Point. They are a direct pay format. Now, you can sign up for the Smart Care Plan. It's just $69 a month. That offers you unlimited office visits throughout the course of the year, plus free basic labs and diagnostic testing. That's what they do at Grace Point. And there's no long wait times. You don't have to wait 3 weeks or 2 weeks to go into see the doctor. You can get in same day or next day, and that's oftentimes for brand new patients as well. Find out the Grace Point difference by making the call to 599-6868. They're located in the heart of Franklin. They're worth the drive from anywhere. 599-6868. Or better yet, just tell them Matt Murphy sent you when you make the call and make the appointment to Grace Point. I hope you do that. 599-6868. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Who do we want to give the Friday victory to there, Jackson?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I can't even remember what we did.
Nobody knows who won on Friday, Ken. So it's kind of a crapshoot.
I had Jalen Carter spitting on that guy.
Yeah, I don't think that was a winner.
Just another example of a Georgia player gone astray.
No, they ruined him up there in Philly. That's what happened.
That's where he got ruined.
When do you see that Gator? What an idiot! What a moron! Absolute moron. I mean, that you got to sit down for a few games, right?
Yes, he probably will.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Why? What'd he do?
He spit in somebody's face, Ken.
You can't do that.
Can't do that.
I mean, right after the Jalen Carter deal, the Eagles guy, then a college player does it. Right in front of the ref. Just a big old.
I think Georgia should have to disband their football program. It is releasing too many bad apples.
You were saying. By the way, if y'all want me to get Jackson to hush his mouth, this is the way to do it. Hey, Jackson, what are we going to bet on the game?
I don't know.
There's a lot of folks that are asking about that. Now, I was going to the mental health guy on the line, and we lost all of our phone calls. So 615-737-9986. I apologize. We'll get to you in just a moment. 615-737-9986. Would love to talk to you about mental health issues. Listen, it's a very serious subject. We're going to go away from the serious for just a moment, as we do at this time every day, Monday through Friday, and we talk about the nincompoops in the news.
Nincompoops in the news.
I'm not going first because I don't have a nincompoop yet. Y'all got nincompoops?
I got a nincompoop.
Ken, you go first.
Weaver's got a nincompoop. You got a nincompoop there, Jackson?
I do.
Okay, well, Ken Weaver, we're going to pretend that you won on Friday, and you get to go first.
All right, this story was picked up by Bleacher Report, boys.
Uh-oh.
Mystery pooper has tortured golf course for a decade. A hole-in-one? More like a number 2 in the hole is more like it. For the past decade, a Norwegian golf course has been dealing with a serial pooper. He decides to leave dirty toilet paper and feces at the bottom of holes. UPI reported Stavanger Golf Club, a scenic waterside course in Hartsfjord, wherever, there in Norway, claims they have been...
Try that one more time, Ken.
Hartsfjord claims they have been finding poop in the course's cup since 2005. And the worst part is they have no clue who's been doing it. Now, here we go. The groundskeeper, Kenneth Timfjord, told the newspaper there, and we know it is a man because the poos are too massive to be from a woman. So the groundskeeper's just taken upon himself to blame a single person who has been doing this since 2005. I've got questions for Mr. Timfjord, who said the mysterious pooper only lays his tracks on weekdays. The club has tried catching the culprit by installing high-powered lights, but to no avail. Timfjord says he climbed up a tree next to the lights and wriggled far out on a branch and dismantled the spotlights. That's how he managed the feat without electrocuting himself or falling is a riddle. So, I think people need to look at the groundskeeper.
I was about to say, Ken, that I suspect an inside job.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's an outside job, but it's being done from an inside person.
Yes.
Inside source.
No, here's the thing. So I worked at a golf course for a while, and I know what the groundskeeper has to do to the holes on a golf course.
Yes, sir.
It could be an employee. It is not the groundskeeper.
Okay. Well, because the groundskeeper's got to clean it up.
Yeah.
I had to go on the golf course one time. I was at a golf course, and I'm not proud of this, but I was on a golf course. I happened to be playing by myself.
Yeah.
I was supposed to play with my father-in-law, and he couldn't answer the bell for some reason or another. Mm-hmm. And so I went out by myself to play, and I was almost alone on the golf course.
All by yourself.
And I got hit with, let's just say Montezuma's revenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, boy, it hits all of a sudden.
And I couldn't make it. And I just had to go into the woods.
Yeah.
And, do what the Lord commanded me to do at that moment in the woods.
The Bushes are your friend.
Lost some perfectly good underpants that day.
Oh, come on, Murphy.
No, I mean, I got to have something.
Use a leaf.
I'm not using I don't know where those leaves have been. I know where my underpants have been. So you just got to sacrifice. They had to be sacrificed for the team.
Oh, God.
Had to take one for the team. Whew. Good underpants, too. Anyway, but so I get it, but that's a repeat offender. How does he know it's not a woman?
Well, that's the thing. Well, because he said it's too big.
Huh.
Massive dumps.
And he's asked Johnny Depp.
We can leave a little to the amount. You don't have to say massive dumps.
They're big uns.
That's no female.
That's a big old dump.
Of course, I get speciesist in our backyard, too, because occasionally I see some poops, and I'm like, that's a cat.
Not
that's
Miss
cat.
Beasley.
That's not Mrs. Beasley. That's a cat poop.
Yeah.
And especially when they run over there and try to, they do things that we won't mention. But I like it, Ken. So no word on catching the culprit.
No word on catching the culprit. And like I said, the only reason I ran that is because Bleacher Report picked it up. Yeah, it's kind of a social media craze. Apparently been going on for a while.
I picked mine up from Bleacher Report, too. And mine's in the news. And what's the name of this segment, Jackson?
Nincompoops in the news.
One of the popular segments that we do on the Matt Murphy Show, wouldn't you say?
Yes, sir.
Well, I feel like this nincompoop is in the news, and so here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Fans irate at a woman who marched over to the father to took a baseball and gave it to his young son have now attempted to find out who she was. It has created an internet rumor mill that points to a woman by the name of Cheryl Richardson Wagner. I am almost certain that many of you have seen the videos already. It was at a Philadelphia baseball game, the Phillies, where a home run was struck by Philadelphia Phillies hitter Harrison Bader. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He struck the home run against the Florida Marlins in Miami. And there's a lot of Phillies fans because in Miami, most people know that nobody goes to Florida Marlins games unless you're a fan of the other team, and then you go. Anyway, so this woman thought that she has some sort of rights to the baseball. And so a guy runs over along his same aisle. He goes about 6-8 seats down and picks up the baseball. There was, people going for it, and he got to the baseball first, picked it up, walked back to his seat where his son was waiting. He put it in his son's glove. There you go, son. There's a baseball. You got a baseball at a baseball game. Well, Karen was not having it. Philly Karen ran over to him and started giving him the what, just yelling at him, dressing him down. And we're going to talk about this a little more in a minute. But the dude gave her the ball. He took it from his son and gave her the ball just to get her out of his face. Now, she's a nincompoop from not understanding how this works. If you have hands on ball, that is your ball. That is your home run ball. I'm not for fighting for the ball, but if you get there first and you get your hands on it, it's your ball. Now, goodness gracious, give it to the children when you get an opportunity to do so, which is what I always do.
Yes, sir.
That said, Karen got her hands on the ball, but the little boy got the last laugh as Harrison Bader, rightly so, caught wind of this, invited him into the clubhouse, gave him a signed bat, and he got a lot of swag from the Florida Marlins. So the kid and the dad are going to be fine. But I give nincompoop status to the Karen who thought she had the right to the ball because her life is about to be destroyed. They haven't found her on social media yet. It's not this woman that they think it is. She's like, it wasn't me. I was nowhere near Miami. I wasn't at the Phillies game. I'm not even a Phillies fan. I'm a Red Sox fan. And then finally, I would give a secondary nincompoop status to this dad, who he did this little thing where she walked up to him and he went, ah! Have y'all seen the video?
Dude,
have y'all seen
really?
it?
Dude,
You want me to do it again?
Yeah.
You want me to give a clean version of it?
Yeah.
No. She walks up to him and kind of taps him, and he goes, ah!
Oh, looks like Gunnar Stockton in the pocket.
Oh, you like that, did you? Yeah. Was that good for you?
Yeah, that was great.
It's Gunnar Stockton when he's got an open receiver. I don't want to throw it. I'll hand it off.
So he was acting like he was about to be assaulted.
Yes, and then she starts dressing him down, and he says something to her, and she says a couple more things to him, and he hands the ball. And he later on said that he wanted to show his son a lesson. He wanted to offer his son a lesson and how to de-escalate a conversation. Here's your lesson, Dad. You tell the woman, ma'am, it doesn't work that way. I got to the ball first, and now I've given it to my son, and it's my son's baseball. Thank you. We're done with this conversation. Goodbye.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
First come, first serve.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't grab it out of her hand.
No, he had it.
He reached down and picked it up.
She wasn't fast enough.
So it's his ball.
Yes.
And I don't understand why he gave it back to her. I guess it worked out considering the swag that they got. But, yeah, the go look at the video, and the little thing that he does is not. That's not.
The Kirby Smart impression.
That's not manly. That's just not. Speaking of not manly, Jackson, you're an nincompoop.
Good one.
Thank you.
You guys ever seen Breaking Bad?
I have not, and I've been told repeatedly that I need to watch.
Jesse,
Ken,
we've got to
Ken,
cook.
You've seen it, right?
Yes.
All right. Tough break for Raymond Cruz, the actor who brought fan favorite villain Tuco Salamanca to life.
Tuco!
Because cops hauled him off this morning on suspicion of misdemeanor battery.
Oh.
Law enforcement sources tell TMZ someone called the police claiming Cruz assaulted their daughter, allegedly spraying her with a garden hose. A source familiar with the case tells TMZ Cruz was washing his car and asked the girl to move out of the way after she parked really close to his car. She allegedly got sprayed as he continued to wash and believed he did it on purpose. The incident went down outside Cruz's home in the Silver Lake area of Los Angeles. He is now at the station getting processed. Isn't this stupid?
It's dumb. It's pretty dumb.
Like, why? Like, that's not assault.
She better look out for Tuco's granddad.
Yeah.
That bell. You don't want to hear him ring
No,
the bell.
sir.
Mm-mm. I agree. That's how we play Nincompoops in the news. Speaking of ringing the bell, just go ahead and ring one up for old Murphy. Thank you.
Be the only win he gets this week.
I'm getting hell for using my underpants. I've been told I should have used my socks. Maybe. Socks would have been inappropriate. Slinging around. That's how we play Nincompoops. Vote Jackson. I wouldn't advise that. Vote Weaver. That's more advisable. Or vote Murphy the right way. It's 10. Check that 9 until the top of the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There's a reason that they talk about, a good, rock-solid foundation when it comes to a lot of different things in life. Well, if you don't have a rock-solid foundation when it comes to your actual foundation, then you got trouble, right? I mean, foundation means everything. Well, at USS, they make sure that the foundation is what it ought to be. They do foundation repair, they do waterproofing, and they do concrete leveling, and it is what they do at USS. USS stands for United Structural Systems. And if you've noticed the telltale signs of something going wrong, it is no time to wait. You don't want to leave this up to the gods. You don't want to leave it up to fate. You need to get it handled, and you do so by making a call to USS, United Structural Systems. When it comes to large home repairs, they're the experts. They'll come out to your home, they'll diagnose exactly what's going on, and they'll tell you the real deal, the skinny. Now, sometimes it's bad news, and you've got to get some major repair done. Sometimes it's good news, and you've caught it early enough. One way or the other, they are the experts that will lead to satisfaction and peace of mind. Contact USS by going to their website, USSTN.com. USSTN.com. Homeowners simply trust USS. Here's the number, 615-488-7855, 488-7855 for our friends at USS. Friends, the weather is demonstrating that it is time to think about maintenance on that heater. I'm just telling you, folks, when it's only in the 70s in the afternoons in the state of Tennessee, that means that fall is coming. I understand we might have a week or two of hotter weather, but it's time to go ahead and make the call to Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling and schedule that fall maintenance on your heater. Now, you're thinking to yourself, Murphy, you're just trying to get them out there to charge me to maintenance that. No, we're trying to save you money. It is your call whether you do this or not. But people that do it on the regular, you maintenance that unit. One, you're healthier as a result because you're not smelling that smell, that dust, that dander that's burning off of the coils of your heater that hasn't been operating for the last 8 months or so. Number two, you are giving Jeff Eddy and his team an opportunity to make sure that everything's A-OK with that heater so that it doesn't go out when it's cold, 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 and you got to call them in the middle of the night or the first thing in the morning. That's what it's all about, maintaining the unit, getting more life out of it. So consider it, and obviously if your AC goes out, you need to get them out there to get more life out of that unit and get you through the season. Call Efficient Heating and Cooling at 615-784-4424 or efficienthvac.net. That's efficienthvac.net.
The Republican-led House Oversight Committee has new documents and communications from the Jeffrey Epstein estate. We'll tell you about that story and more coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
If you'd like to see Jay Willie and Matt Murphy in our turkey hats, I have posted the photo on my X Machine page, at Matt Murphy Show. That's at Matt Murphy Show. If you want to see Ken Weaver in his turkey hat, Jackson turns on the just turn on Ken's camera right now, Jackson.
Already done.
Okay, there you go. Well, you can see Weaver in his turkey hat. Thank you again to Mr. Bill from Hendersonville for his kindness in offering us our turkey paraphernalia.
Yes.
We will keep it close, near and dear to our heads and our hearts, always. By the way, I'm a big winner, at least so far.
That's way to go, Brother Murphy.
Congrats. You'll get a win this week.
You know what? I feel like I will get a win today, and I feel like it's a win for everybody that we're exposing this story. Your thoughts on this? I got to look, the woman was obviously out of her mind, and who knows what was going through her head. I don't necessarily think, though, that her life should be destroyed over this. And a lot of people are calling for blood. I mean, they're like wanting her to get fired.
Good grief.
I mean, what are we doing? What are you talking about? Did she act like, you know what, Och? Yes, she did. But, you know, she's entitled, I suppose. I mean, she went over and started yelling. She didn't touch the guy. And the guy gave her the baseball. And she is getting exactly what she deserves for the way that she acted. But, I mean, there are people out there, she needs to be fired. What you want to dox her? You want to ruin her life over acting like that? Okay, I get it. On the other side, the father seems to be getting a pass. If you're in the right and you know you're in the right, you don't give up. You show your son what it is to stand up for yourself and say, no, ma'am, you can be as polite as you want. No, ma'am, that's not the way that it works. I got to the ball and I wanted to give it to my son, and my son seems to have enjoyed getting that ball, and he's going to keep it. Thank you very much. And you move on, and you just turn away and you just go sit down in your seat. Let this woman scream and yell and be as mad as she wants to be. I don't think you give it to her. What kind of lesson are you teaching your son that if somebody starts yelling and screaming, you give them what they want, even if they're in the wrong? She was in the wrong. That's the life lesson. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 6 o'clock, time for the news.
6 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And the Republican-led House Oversight Committee has new documents and communications from the Jeffrey Epstein estate that includes a copy of the alleged birthday book that the Wall Street Journal reported was compiled for Epstein's birthday in 2003, and that the Wall Street Journal claims contains a one-page letter with a drawing from Donald Trump. ABC News, Washington, D.C. Bureau Managing Editor Catherine Falders following the latest developments.
Democrats who say that they received this letter from Jeffrey Epstein's estate when these documents were turned over today. You could see what is allegedly Donald Trump's signature there. I will say that the White House is disputing that is his signature, but the reality is this is the letter that we are now seeing for the first time since that report from the Wall Street Journal back a couple months ago, claiming that Trump did in fact sign this letter that was included in that birthday book given to Epstein for his 50th
Well,
birthday.
the president's denied writing the letter and filed a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the Journal's owner. Also in Tennessee, Channel 4's Lydia Fielder says a 12-year-old has been arrested in DeKalb County for making a threat against a school.
The student got out of the car line last week, and as he was walking into the school, he told another student he had a gun in his backpack and would shoot up the school. And someone, gladly is what he said. The witness then told the teacher that. Well, the 12-year-old boy admitted to making the threat. The school resource officer said there were no weapons or threatening notes actually found.
President Trump still dedicated to giving the right to pray in public schools. He spoke to the White House Religious Liberty Commission today.
I'm pleased to announce this morning that the Department of Education will soon issue new guidance protecting the right to prayer in our public schools.
Trump making remarks today at the Museum of the Bible, and pray you don't get this. A deadly disease spread by a bug's feces after it bites you on the face, now infecting people in the U.S. It's called the kissing bug because it usually bites you on the face as you sleep, and when you swipe at it, you unknowingly rub its feces into the bite, and that's where the infection can start. It's called Chagas disease. It's already endemic to 21 countries, and now there are human cases in 8 states here in the U.S., including Tennessee. If not treated, it can become chronic and last a lifetime and turn into heart failure. Kissing bugs look like stink bugs, but they're typically dark with red or orange markings. And get a load of this next medical story.
Bill Stewart received a new kidney June 14th. It was not a human kidney, but a genetically engineered pig kidney.
I've always been a little bit of a science nerd.
The New Hampshire man's no longer on dialysis and says a recent ultrasound showed positive results.
Dr. Riella said my kidney's doing absolutely wonderfully. It looks great.
Dr. Leonardo Riella at Mass General says this can save lives.
We know the best treatment for these patients, but we are stuck because of the organ shortage.
Clinical trials are beginning. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Yeah, Stewart is the second patient to receive a transplanted pig kidney. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Woodbine got a crash reported by police, 440 eastbound, just past Nolensville Pike. Over by the airport, got a crash reported by cameras. It's going to be 40 eastbound at Donaldson Pike. And then in Metro Center, had some police activity. The on-ramp was partially blocked, 65 northbound, on-ramp for Rosa Parks Boulevard. Then in Murfreesboro, Highway Patrol reporting a crash 840 eastbound past Jefferson Pike. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Man, oh man, a lot of discussion on the Super Text line about the baseball incident. So if you've not heard, this is on video. You can readily see it. I think I posted something on my X Machine account at Matt Murphy Show. That's at Matt Murphy Show, MattMurphyShow. By the way, does anybody else have the experience? Like, I'm not complaining. I am as blessed as can be. Thank you. So many of you follow us on the social media platforms. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me. I'm on Instagram, but I'm mostly on the X Machine. I mean, it's a cesspool full of awful people saying awful things about everybody, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I just lay down there and wallow in it. I mean, if you think I'm rough on this show, go over to the X Machine. By the way, kids, remember, buzzed tweeting is drunk tweeting. Be careful. But you
Twitter.
go. Yeah,
needs a breathalyzer.
Maybe. If you find me over there, you'll find a lot of different things. I think I put this up over there where the Karen. If I didn't, I will. The Karen is all mad about the baseball deal, and a lot of you are commenting on it. Now, two things. One, I mean, obviously, this woman needed to get over herself. She has no idea, in my opinion, what the basic rules of civilization are at a baseball game. If a ball is hitting your direction, you have every right to go for it. And if you find the ball anywhere in the stadium and you pick it up, it's yours, right? Now, there's some disagreement about this. Like, for example, 9412, and I'm not suggesting that there's any right answer, but 9412 says, who rightfully grabbed it may be debatable. I see both sides. However, when she learned it was for his son on his 10th birthday, maybe she could have agreed to let the kid have it. I don't know her reason. And we know fans get crazy. Myself, I don't know the rules. Well, the rules are, I mean, he did not, I will never support a human being snatching a ball from another human being, snatching anything from another human being. Secondarily, if you are a grown person, let me be real clear. If you're at a sporting event and you're a grown person and you find yourself arguing with or fighting over a piece of paraphernalia with a child, you are always wrong. Always. Golf ball, tennis ball, baseball, glove, bat, whatever. If it is a child, you allow the child to have it. As a matter of fact, I've made it a practice, and I've not had this happen many times in my life. I think it happened once at a Montgomery Biscuits baseball game, if I'm not mistaken. I believe I have that memory correct. Where, ball comes your direction, and I'm keeping the ball. If it's just me and there's nobody else around, but I pick it up and I look, and there's this little 7-year-old face. Oh, no, you got it all. I was hoping to get it, but you got it. Give that ball to the kid. So the rules are simple. You get to the ball first, ball is yours. But afterwards, Dad, look, y'all can say that he took the higher road or whatever, but I'm looking at this lady and I'm saying, ma'am, Two things. One, I got to the ball first, and baseball park rules, that ball is mine. Number two, I've given that ball to my son as a birthday gift to my son, and I'm not giving it back to you. And so you can yell all you want. You can scream all you want. You can cause a ruckus. You can call security. I don't care. But you need to get out of my face. We're done here. Thank you. You're not being the bigger man by giving up on a situation where you're in the right. You're actually showing your son how to be, gosh, there's a word that I can't use. Understand, there's chivalry and then there's losing your man card. And this was a little bit of losing the man card. 615-737-9986. Speaking of people losing their man card, let's listen to one that I don't believe ever had a man card. His name is Tim Kaine. If you don't know old Timmy, he ran on the Hillary Clinton ticket as a vice presidential candidate. They got their rumps beaten. He was Tim Walz before Tim Walz. He is a current senator. I mean, isn't he? He was a current senator, or is, from the state of Virginia. Tim Walz before Tim Walz. And here's what our man had to say about rights that we enjoy as human beings and, by extension, as American citizens.
The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. It's a theocratic regime that bases its rule on Shia law. The statement that our rights do not come from our laws or our governments is extremely troubling.
What? I want to play this one more time for you. This is a sitting senator in the United States Congress.
The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. It's a
Okay, let me give you a little. I think I could do this by memory, but I pulled it up just in case. Now, I could go over the first paragraph. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them to another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind require that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. This is the part I wanted you to hear. I don't know, maybe you've heard this before. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is the Declaration of Independence, friends. That is the philosophical foundation of our country. It is not the legal foundation of our country. The legal foundation of our country is the Constitution of the United States. The philosophical foundation of our nation is that all men deserve equal treatment under the law, and that we all have rights given to us not by government but by God. Not by government but by God. Or whatever you want, nature. You can call it other things, but the concept remains that you are granted. Now, I call it God, right? But I'm just trying to be as all-encompassing as I possibly can, that there are certain rights, individual rights, that you hold above and beyond whatever your government is going to tell you to do. And if your government begins to violate said rights, then you, by all rights given to you by God, have an opportunity to dissolve the political bands that bond you together. That's what the hell we did in the American Revolution. But this guy...
The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. It's a theocratic regime that bases its rule on Shia law. The statement that our rights do not come from our laws or our governments is extremely troubling.
Who? Has he read the Declaration of Independence? Should someone Send him a copy of the Declaration of Independence. Donald Trump has something to say about it.
The ineffectual senator from Virginia, a man named Tim Kaine, stated that the notion our rights come from our Creator is, quote, extremely troubling to him. Very troubling, isn't it troubling? Isn't it terrible, though? How he would say something like that, and advocated really by a totalitarian regime. This is what they say. But as everyone in this room understands, it is tyrants who are denying our rights and the rights that come from God. And it's this Declaration of Independence that proclaims we're endowed by our Creator with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The senator from Virginia should be ashamed of himself.
He should be ashamed of himself. And to compare the United States of America that bends over backwards to secure the liberties of all of our citizens, underline citizens, regardless of their religious faith, regardless of their belief. We believe in natural rights given to us by God so much that you don't have to believe in God at all, and you still enjoy those same rights in this country. We believe in individual liberties secured by nature or nature's God, our Creator, so much that you don't have to affiliate yourself with any sort of religious faith, and will protect the blessings of freedom and liberty regardless of your faith, even if you are a Muslim. Despite the fact that there are grave concerns happening around the United States of America about how groups of Muslims in various parts of our country are attempting to reshape the laws in their local communities against the very fabric of our own Constitution, against the very fabric of our own Bill of Rights, against the very fabric of our own Declaration of Independence, creating Sharia law in those localities, Dearborn, Michigan being one of them. We believe in freedom so much that you have the right to disagree with everything this country is about if you are a citizen, and you get to stay here. It's an amazing, amazing aspect to how we lead our lives, that you can be as dumb as a box of rocks and you still enjoy those rights. You can be a liberal. Oh, I repeat myself. Dumb as a box of rocks and still have those rights. Speaking of dumb as a box of rocks, that hat still looks good on you, buddy.
Thanks, pal.
I kid because I love. Chris is next up. Hey, Chris, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Mr. Murphy, how you doing, brother?
See, if I knew it was you, Chris, I would have said, speaking of a dumb as a box of rocks, here's Chris, but I was worried. I was worried you wouldn't get the joke, so I went to Jackson. What's going on,
brother,
man?
You okay?
Yeah.
Hey, no, I just wanted to comment on your nincompoop in the news or your Karen in the baseball game. Dude, yeah, Dad, I've got a 12-year-old daughter, and if I'd have went to a ball game, yeah, man card needs to be taken away from him, sir.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with you 100%.
I got to look at that woman and say, ma'am, you got to back up.
Yes, sir.
You know, I mean, you got to back up and you got to back off. You need to understand the rules. And if you want to talk to somebody else in this stadium about this situation, they're going to tell you the same thing I'm going to tell you, is that that's my son's baseball and we're done here. That's it.
Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%, brother.
All right, man.
I agree with you. I mean, there's no, you can be cordial.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't have to be I don't know if I can say this. You don't have to be a butthole.
That's right.
But you can just say, hey, first come, first serve, and this is hers.
Right.
So
yeah, man.
But I'm a first-time caller, and I just want to tell you, love your show, brother.
Chris.
Love your show.
Hey, Chris, love those first-time callers, man. Thank you, brother, and call again very, very soon. I appreciate you.
That has to be one of the most terrifying things I can hear is, I don't know if I can say this, but
I know.
He did good.
He did really good as a first-time caller. He said butthole. He said butthole.
That's fine.
Probably don't need to say the other one.
I was like, oh no.
I mean, there's an art form to getting around, and you can say like that other word that is like the butthole word. You can say one of those and you can say another one of those, but you can't say both of those back to back. You get in trouble. weird how that works. But we understand
how long
that.
of a pause before?
It's all context, right?
Should we test it out?
No, we shouldn't test it out. But it's all context. I mean, there have been a couple of times where I've gotten away with saying a few things in an emotional state, a pointed word or two regarding. I remember, when you're talking about people that are doing things to our country, or I mean, you can get away with saying some things about certain groups, but. You try. I try to keep it above board. We try to do our best. When we return, we will talk about Monty Fritz entering the gubernatorial debate and what it means for John Rose. I don't think it's good for John, and I like John a lot. I'm wondering, and John thus far has not said a word to me about this, but I'm wondering if we will not get to a point where John decides that he's going to run for Congress again. Look, I'll give you my analysis coming up in a moment. And I understand that a year is a long time, but third entries into this political gubernatorial race is not good for John Rose, at least this entry. 615-737-9986 is 23 after the hour on Super Talk. Yeah, if y'all missed me Friday, y'all didn't see me in a suit. I was in a nice suit. Every hour of the Murphy Show is brought to you by our friends at U.S. Pest. You'll see them oftentimes on the talk television side of things, right there in the corner. I think it's in this corner, might be that corner, that corner, that corner, that corner. One of the corners. U.S. Pest is one of our fine sponsors. Love what they do. J.K. and Erica Brister are great at their job. What is their job? To eliminate pests out of your life. Now, they can't eliminate Karens out of your life, but they can eliminate bugs. And you're invited to refer a friend or a neighbor or a family member. If you're already a U.S. Pest customer, I want to talk to you guys because a lot of you have made the switch, and rightly so. Did you know that you could receive a credit on your account by referring a neighbor? Or you could also receive a free tick or flea treatment on your account. I mean, it's good stuff. Free inspections available to you as well. So if you don't know what you don't know, you need to know what you don't know about bugs and nasties and spiders and creepy crawlies in your home. They want your food. They want your warmth or your AC. They want what's yours. They're little communists, these bugs. Let's get with U.S. Pest. They love the United States of America, and they hate bugs. Call them today at 590-1260. That's 590-1260, or online, uspest.com, uspest.com. Alpha and Omega is not new to the computer industry. As a matter of fact, they've been around for a long time. They've been doing it since 1998. Cybersecurity's changed a lot. IT services changed a lot there, but their commitment to excellence and service has not changed one bit. Michael and his team believe in, they have a customer service heart, right? They believe in making your computer systems run so seamlessly, your IT runs so seamlessly, your computer operation with emails and your printer operations that you never notice it. You should not notice your computer operations around you. Why? Because they work. Well, you notice them when you've got a cyber threat. You notice them when you've got a ransomware attack. You notice them if your printer doesn't work or your computers don't work or they don't interface with one another. And Michael prevents all of that. If you're unsatisfied with your current IT, avoid settling for the same old, and call Alpha and Omega now. And you certainly can avoid being one of those ransomware attacks. They happen every day. The number is 615-784-0096, 784-0096, or AandO.net. That's AandO.net for Alpha and Omega. Uh-huh. I'm awaiting. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Man, oh, man. I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to follow up on a story that we covered last week for you on the Murphy Show involving McNairy County's own Buford Pusser. I'm going to tell you more about that in a moment. Right now.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Was it 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was a week from Friday.
Just keep my date straight, man. I'm so awful. I don't even know what month. Is it September?
It's September. Just remember this. After this week, your Georgia Bulldogs will be 2-1.
At what?
Football.
At the foosball?
Yeah.
Huh. As predicted by you?
As predicted by me.
Are you going to offer a fearless score prediction at some point?
That will be a Friday show.
You think so?
Yes.
You and I, you keep moving those jaws, and then when I talk about betting, suddenly you got other things to do. And I'm just wondering if we're going to have a gentlemanly wager.
Gambling's a sin, Matt.
I went on FanDuel. I'd never been on FanDuel. Jackson taught me how to get on FanDuel, the same one that just said gambling was a sin. And I made my first wager on FanDuel today.
What'd you take?
I bet $10. 10 whole dollar bills on my beloved Georgia Bulldogs, giving up 3.5 points to the Tennessee Volunteers for some reason or another. I don't know why we're giving any points away. And apparently at FanDuel, my $10 will win me $9.09.
Hey.
So
I don't think you're going to win that, though.
You don't think? You think that's $10 just in the wind?
No.
No. So we need, at some point this week, we need to find out from the audience what they think the bet should be. And nobody's cutting anybody's hair off before you even, you know what I mean? I mean, that's where they
like
always
my
go.
hair.
Yeah, I like my hair too. I'm not. Now, beards.
I'm already clean shaven.
That's true. I could do the beard and you could do the.
It's time for the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Uh-huh. You know, well, Iowa Hawk 8, you need to call us. Now, you just you throw down on the chat, but let's talk on the telephone, 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. A couple of things from the YouTube chat. By the way, it's a wild place over there in the YouTube chat, and I love all of you. Thank you for being as wild as you are. I appreciate you. You can find us on Super Text, 615-737-9986. You can also find us on a variety of platforms like Spotify, iHeart. I encourage you to go over to Talk TV. You can see my lovely red shirt with the beautiful Georgia G on it, and you can reply in a manner of your choosing. You can also see some of the chat that's going down. Mac, you are correct, and I stand corrected. And look, Murphy's not wrong very often. Well, I don't know. Often wrong, but never in doubt. That's what my buddy Jay says. But I'm wrong on this. I have kept saying, I've said giving back when it comes to the ball. That insane Karen never had the ball, so he didn't have anything to get. He gave it to her for some reason. He did not give it back to her. And Mac, I stand corrected on that verbology. I apologize for the improper verbiage. Secondarily, Iowa Hawk 8 says, I'm surprised Matt hasn't talked more about the debate from Friday. I thought Barrett won. Ronnie said, me too. I'd like to hear more about it. NJ Brock 22 says, we're wild. You know, it hasn't been so wild today. And I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a Monday. Maybe you guys are just hungover from the weekend. I don't know. But there it is. Nancy Nash wrote, you don't wrestle in the mud with pigs because you get both muddy and the pig likes it. It's a great Mark Twain quote. It's not my favorite. Mark Twain had a lot of great quotes, Nancy. Have I told you my favorite Mark Twain quote there, Jackson?
You've not.
I think I have, but whatever. Because it takes a minute to get this one. But this is my, if you have to eat two frogs, eat the big frog first.
That way you might be able to spare the little frog?
Well, I mean, no. I mean, if you got another frog coming, I mean, you might as well. If you got tasks to do, none of which are appealing or appetizing to you, go ahead and get the big task out of the way because you got more tasks coming. You know, if you got to eat two frogs, eat the big frog first. I just love it. I've always loved that phrase. Number two, on the debate. I don't know that I saw a clear debate winner. Although I was in the middle of it, so I might have missed a few things. I thought everyone on that stage performed very well. There were a couple of opportunities missed up there, and I don't want to pick nits when I talk about that, but I thought each candidate had their own, particular position on some issues. We asked about a variety of things. I mean, Matt Van Epps obviously leaned on his military experience, rightly so. Some have suggested a little too much. I've heard that comment. I don't know that I share it, but there it is. Jody Barrett, Lee Reeves, and Gino Bolso all respectively discussed their own lanes within the General Assembly, within the legislative process, and how they believe themselves to be the more conservative members of that body. Jody Barrett likes to tout his 100% conservative rating from, just two random. I mean, look, no offense. And Jody, if you were sitting here, I'd say this. These are two organizations that, they're just like anybody else. I mean, they hand out ratings, whatever. But Jody Barrett says he's the most conservative guy on stage. And they all tout their Trump credentials. I'll say this. There was one point, and I just pointed out, because I don't know if anybody noticed on the debate. We asked a question, and Michael Lotfi and I each independently came up with a number of questions. I had to come up with a few of them at the end of the debate, as did Lotfi, because the debate was moving a lot more swiftly than we anticipated. But and I appreciate that. The candidates were pithy. They answered questions, and when they were done answering questions, they didn't try to fill time. They just were done, which is nice, refreshing. But Lotfi asked a question and was very specific. Said, tell me something that you disagree with the president of the United States on. There has to be something, and don't tell me there's nothing, basically. And every single one of them on stage said there's nothing. Every single one of them said there's nothing that I disagree with the president on. And then I don't know if anybody noticed it, but I followed up with a question. And that question was about Intel Corporation and the fact that the government of the United States of America bought an almost 10% interest in Intel for roughly $9 billion. This was a couple of weeks ago. The president announced the purchase. So now the government has an almost 10% stake in a private corporation. And I define socialism. I hope y'all heard this. If you didn't, go back on the podcast and listen, 997WTN.com. And I said, socialism is defined as government ownership of the means of production, government control of the means of production. That's socialism. So when the government begins buying up the means of production, whatever production that might be, call it a utility or don't, I feel like that's a bad thing because that's moving toward socialism. And we've already moved toward socialism in many of our utility categories, water usage, electricity grids, etc. I don't think we need to be moving in that direction with our chip manufacturing. I think there are other ways to protect American chip manufacturing than buying ownership in the company. I think it's a bad decision on the part of the Trump administration. And I'm going to agree with the Trump administration on just about everything, but I'm willing to tell you those things with which I disagree. And I just find it odd that every candidate on, so you ask the question, is there anything you disagree with the Trump administration on? And they say no. And then I ask the next question, hey, they just bought into Intel. Do you think this is right? And every one of them said no. I was like, well, wait a minute. And I didn't say this because it was a debate and it's not about me. Oh, I hope y'all caught it. Like, wait a minute. You just said there's nothing you... So did you just not remember the Intel thing or what? And one of the candidates, and I forget who it was, said that he disagreed. It might have been Lee. Said, I don't know that I would characterize what happened that way. And I'm like, I didn't say anything, but I'm like, well, I would. And I would encourage you to look into it and see what you think about it. 7470, Matt, can you talk about the debate? I missed the whole thing. And where can I find it to listen to? You can find it online at 997WTN.com. You go to the podcast page, and I think, Jackson, am I not right that it's under my tab?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so you go to the podcast page, click on the Listen to Matt Murphy tab on the podcast, and you can find the debate in its entirety, and you can listen there. It is my understanding, if we've not already, that we're endeavoring to get it up audio format on YouTube. So that's another way where you can listen, and I know a lot of you have wanted to listen. And I regret that through a series of unfortunate events, we don't have video. I know many of you have requested the video because in a lot of cases, you want to see how these people respond in terms of their body language. And I regret, in a combination of different things happening all at once that we were unable to have that video for you, so I apologize for that. 615-737-9986. Pastor Patrick says, Matt, we agree. Trump isn't a conservative. He's closer to a socialist. I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. You said that. Pastor Patrick, you are, let's not put words in my mouth. You've got a big enough mouth. You can speak for yourself, and I've got a big enough mouth, and I can speak for myself. So let's try not to confuse anyone on this. I know that's hyperbole, but honestly, my issue is I don't consider him a conservative. Well, Pastor Patrick, let me ask you this. Let me ask all of you Trump supporters this. And I support Trump. I have supported Donald Trump since he came down the escalator. I've supported Donald Trump. I've voted for Donald Trump 6 times. People say 6 times? Yeah. Every primary and every general election, I voted for Donald Trump. So 6 times. Oh, it was Pastor Patrick's telling me he was being sarcastic. I apologize. However, I would say this, that sometimes it's difficult to get tone over text, Pastor Patrick, so my bad. I'll say this. Donald Trump's never called, to my knowledge, I don't know that Trump's ever called himself a conservative. Maybe he has, and I've missed it. I don't think he regularly, let me put it this way, I don't believe that Donald Trump regularly touts himself as a conservative. And I don't know that from a fiscal standpoint, he cares that much about the national debt. I don't think he does. I do. I think it is the number one existential crisis facing the United States of America. The number one crisis, maybe not for Jackson, but for Jackson's children. Should he ever choose to procreate? I don't know that we're encouraging or discouraging it. I'm just saying, should he choose, find himself a lovely Mrs. Jackson, and they settle down in the Jackson homestead, and they have a little Jackson, ragamuffins running around, a little brood, little twinsies.
I was once told I should have a stamp on my forehead that said unfit for reproduction.
I would not go that far at all. But I would say that even you in your mid-20s might outlive the demise of America. But I'm not so sure about it. And I sure as hell am not sure about anybody's children this day and age. Because we are $37 trillion in debt. At some point, all of those chickens come home to roost. At some point, it matters that the national debt is such where our interest payments on the national debt are exceeding our payments on our United States military. Our budget on our national debt interest is greater than our budget on our United States military. That's a problem. I don't know that Donald Trump focuses on repairing that problem as much as I would like to see him do so. Now, if you want to call that a criticism, that's fine. I don't consider Donald Trump an enemy because we might disagree on focus on this small matter. But I don't know that Trump has ever referred to himself as a conservative. One of the reasons I asked the question at the end of the debate, and if you were here for the entire thing, you remember it, I said, what informs you that you are a Republican? It's one of my favorite questions to ask politicians. What informs you? I mean, you just didn't wake up one day and somebody say, hey, you're a Republican, or hey, you're a Democrat. What informs you that you are these things? And how does being a Republican differ from being a conservative? And I made an assumption that everybody on the stage was a self-described conservative. I think that's a fair assumption. So what informs you that you're a Republican, and how's that different from being a conservative? Well, I think Donald Trump is obviously a Republican. I don't think he is as conservative as I would like for him to be on fiscal policy. And I think one candidate, and I think it was Jody Barrett, answered that question pretty well when he's, split up. Well, there's different types of conservative. There's physical conservatives, social conservatives. So all in all, I don't know that any blood was drawn during the debate. Hopefully you got some clarity as to who your candidate was. And if you have not been able to see it or listen to it, you can do so on 997WTN.com. When we return, what Monty Fritz does to the governor's race, a quick premise before we get out of here and hand off to Mark Levin at 7 o'clock. It's the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk. Fellas, let's talk about your age for just a moment. You don't want to think about it. You get over to the mirror and you see some of the bags under the eyes and you realize that things might be not functioning the way that they used to. Perhaps you've noticed no lack of desire in bedroom activities, but a lack of confidence, a lack of abilities. Look, this type of thing can wreck a relationship. It can hurt your confidence. It can impact your mental health. It can even impact your sense of identity. I want to encourage you to go to the Tennessee Men's Clinic if you've noticed any of these signs, because there's real help. Since 2014, Tennessee Men's Clinic has helped thousands of men get back to feeling like themselves. First, they did it in Midtown, even before it was called Midtown. Then in Cool Springs a couple of years ago, and now in Clarksville. That's right. 3 locations. Count them 1, 2, 3. No matter where you are in Middle Tennessee, expert care is close to you. These are not cookie cutter treatments either. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology based, and they're staffed with licensed providers who specialize in men's health and more particularly in men's sexual health. They use proven treatments tailored to you and your specific situation. No cookie cutter solutions. Call them today and schedule an appointment. Let's get right with this, men. Let's get back in the ball game. 615-208-9090, 208-9090, or online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. That's TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Just a couple of minutes before we'll say goodnight, hand off to Mark Levin. I know we're trying. Somebody just wrote in. I forget who it was. 2637 Jackson has written in and says, man, I love the Vols, but damn, this is going to be a long week. We're trying not to talk about it, too. I mean, we are trying our level best not to discuss. And it's just Monday.
Friday is going to be a struggle.
I agree with you.
Jay St. Clair, Tennessee Vol, right?
Yes.
We'll definitely have that discussion on Friday.
Well, he gave up on the Vols. I mean, but you can ask him about going to the last Natty. He was at the last Natty with his son. He climbed the fence. Were you not here for his story about the fence?
No, I have not heard this.
Where he got beat by the 6-foot chain link fence
at the Fiesta Bowl?
Yeah, I think so. His son jumped it, and Jay's like, I'm a grown man. I'm not doing that. I'm not bum rushing the field. And then the big orange took over in him, and he goes, okay, I'll do it too. And he tried to jump, and he got I think his britches got hung on the fence. It's pretty funny. In a moment, I shall share with you, I'll do it now. Monty Fritz in the governor's race is not good for John Rose. And I'm gonna flesh this theory out, this political theory that I have out over the next day or two. But look, every man's entitled to do this for himself. And if Monty Fritz feels called and compelled, as he said on Chris Hand's show last week, to run for governor, so be it. John Rose feels the same way, so be it. Marsha Blackburn feels the same way, so be it. I'm just telling you what my analysis of the polling a year out dictate to me is that John Rose needs every single non-Marsha vote out there. Plus, he needs to convince some Marsha fence sitters that he's a better person than Marsha. Monty Fritz taking up some of that space in the race is just going to guarantee that Marsha Blackburn wins the governor's race next year. And I know some of you don't like her. Many of you do. A lot of vocal non-support of Marsha. That's probably 20% of the Republicans in the state, maybe 25%. Well, if those non-Marsha votes are split between two of the candidates, it guarantees the Marsha victory, right? I would not be surprised. And just mark this down, write this down, Jackson, put it in an envelope, put a date on it, and we'll open it up next year. Wouldn't be surprised if John drops out and runs for Congress. Here comes Mark Levin on Super Talk.